Your ritual!
Oh, shit. What's happening, folks? How you doing? It's Friday, the 25th of June. It's summer. It's hot. And, it's Friday evening. And thank you for joining us. I'm hanging in the studio. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who showed up to the Louis Bailey cancer run last weekend. We raised a ton of money for our buddy Tanner Young. And it was fantastic. Around 200 motorcycles, a couple slingshots, a party bus, lots of drinking, lots of fun, lots of road, and lots of miles. So thank you very much for showing up, folks. I really appreciate all the help and all the love and support for all of that stuff. It was fantastic. We had a great time. Do me a favor, if you're looking to get some screen printing done, Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated custom screen printing, antibroadcasting@gmail.com or 612-836-9488. I want to apologize for starting out a little late. I got into a conversation about some stupid shit and was just rambling on and on and on, and I realized, oh shit, I'm late. So here we are. Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. 612-353-4755. That's lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. If you're looking to get some tattoo work done, give Jason and the folks down at Lowbrow Saints a call and show up, get some tattoo, get some good color in your world, man. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. I hope you got through this rough week. I know it's fucking kind of crazy, man. This week was
it's fucking hot.
Yes, it was. Well, the first couple days weren't too bad.
No, they were.
Well,
my AC on fucking blast.
Yeah.
For like a week.
Well, my guest here is Tracey Setterlund. How you doing, buddy? It's been a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think the last time I was here was sometime last summer.
Yeah.
And we forgot to save the pot. You forgot to save the podcast.
No, I had it.
Oh.
I had it. That's what the conversation with Jeff was, and it was a live. Well, I'll explain myself. Well, you were there. You know what happened. We had a conversation about the COVID and you starting a new business with the Terra Class Aesthetics stuff, and in the middle of that, we kind of got into a conversation about the cancel culture shit that was going on in the.
Yeah, we got in a pretty deep.
Yeah, and
deep conversation.
And with that, being said, it was. I got a little hot about it because it was pretty personal for me, and this podcast, and I've since broken that rule a couple podcasts ago, and actually want to say sorry to Jared Singer who actually helped me get this thing going again. I find myself sometimes projecting my own thoughts on other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you expect people to feel the way you do about certain things, and then you go into it and you end up breaking the rules that you set for yourself.
You kind of spiral.
Well, yeah. You start getting emotional about shit. You know what I mean? You start, kind of like getting involved in, when we were talking, and this is what the whole apology was about, was that we were talking about the cancel culture shit and the people that were kind of attacking my club and attacking me. And I actually said the names of people, which I don't do. And I got pretty emotional about it. And after the fact, we had a great podcast. Yeah. It was a fun time.
It was.
I listened to it. I listened back to it, and I just was not happy with it. And I really was kind of disappointed in myself because I've really kind of prided myself on, like if a band comes in and they bring their drama in, I don't really want to hear about. I don't want it to be a battle. You're on a live show, or you're recording a show, and you don't give the other person a chance to fight, to come back at you, right? You're just talking shit about them or being very emotional and angry about something, and you go off. In which, the whole reason that we got together was to talk about your stuff, which
okay.
We did. But
I was just starting, and now I'm in a better place to do a podcast.
Well, that's good. That's good. So we can touch through all of that shit now. I mean,
yay.
So with this whole COVID shit, after all this, now you started a business in the middle of this, right?
Yeah. So it was like, about April 2020, I ended up losing my job, and I applied for unemployment just like a lot of people did, and I was just kind of in this weird headset of, fuck, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Because I bought a house and I'm at home, and it's like my son's mom was working, and I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I started getting all the money in, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna buy my time and do some art or some shit.
Right.
And I started doing it, and I had friends on Facebook go like, oh, I would buy that.
Yeah.
And then I had somebody offer money, and I thought, well, maybe I could take this money and invest it and see what happens.
Now you started out with like dolls and stuff, right?
I was doing like dolls and leather work and some steel work. And then I thought, just on a whim, I'm like, you know what? I haven't made a mask in like 12 years.
Sure.
I'm going to try it again.
Right.
And that first mask I made with the jawbones and all that shit,
Yeah.
that kind of blew up pretty quick, and I didn't expect it to. And it was kind of cool because it's like everyone wanted to buy it, and I'm like, I'm not selling this fucking mask.
Right. You still have it?
Yeah. It's the only one I won't sell because
Right.
it's the first one that,
Yeah.
it's kind of the marking stone of
Yeah.
this whole adventure or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck you want to call
But I mean, you were doing the aesthetic work with your band stuff, with the Promidal stuff, right? You guys were building your costumes and getting things like that, right?
A lot of that stuff that we had made
Yeah.
was actually through Scene Sick out in Ohio.
Okay.
And then like the titty suit that everyone loved and the creepy skin mask, that was through a company out in California called Shoggoth Assembly.
Right.
The only thing I did is I made the
jackets and
the
shit,
jackets
right?
and
Yeah.
the robes.
Yep.
But all the vest stuff, that was all Scene Sick.
Okay. Okay.
And then there was like some stuff for like the music video that Jason and I teamed up on.
Right.
But
That giant fucking cleaver you guys did.
when we started making that, that's kind of when like even at that time I kind of had some cogs rolling where I'm like, man, I wish I could just sit at home and fucking do this.
Right.
And then then when the COVID thing kicked, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, could you make a mask that would be more like a COVID mask? And I thought, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
And through a little bit of trial and error of different materials and blah, 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 I found some human skin and started going with that. Now
Right.
I started working with more skin-like material, and I ended up, through Alex and through Jake, our drummer, they set me up with the Dead End Hayride, and I started working for them, and I actually did about, I want to say close to 80 or 100 handmade masks.
Damn.
And one outfit for one of their butchers.
Now, you were making masks for the people who were working there, or were you selling them at the?
So I did both.
Okay.
So up until October, I started working for them. I think they were my main client at the time. So when they hired me, I had like 3-4 months where I was just hammering out, a good 20 a week for them. They got all the masks, and I was pretty content and happy with it. And then I thought, well, maybe I could make a bunch. And they said, hey, do you want to come out and vend here, during our weekends? And I thought, well, that'd be sweet. And I started doing that. And then people were like, I remember looking at like how I had things priced too, because I wasn't really sure what to price things. And I figured, well, if people are going to drive all the way out here and they realize they can buy an original mask of what is being worn by all the cast members,
Right.
maybe I'll make a little coin.
Right.
And I did. My first night there, like I almost sold out, and I had to go back home
And fucking
and
hustle
spend
more.
another week and a half hammering out more shit.
Yeah.
Come back the week after, sell a bunch of shit, and after that, I wasn't really confident I could keep doing it, so I got a part-time job, and ended up working for a company called ConAgra.
Now, doing it, meaning that you didn't know if you could continue selling or continue making, or just the volume that
I
you
just
were
didn't
at.
have the confidence that I could keep up with it because I wasn't sure. I knew if I wanted to keep it going, I needed to have. I had to pay fucking bills,
Right.
and I needed to be able to keep that momentum and that flow. And I didn't have the confidence that I could do that with the lack of orders.
Sure.
Because I still had I fucking hate TikTok. I hate all this goddamn social media.
Social media
But I
shit,
had
right.
to jump in. I even had to jump into TikTok, which that took some of my dignity and pride.
Why?
I fucking hate it. There's just something about a lot of the social media shit. I don't like all that trendy crap. Cause
Yeah,
it's like,
but
then I gotta
here's the
relearn it
thing.
all.
Here's the thing, though, dude, is that the stuff that you do, you throw some fucking sick, crazy synth stuff that you like to produce anyway. You know what I mean? with a bunch of masks flashing in and out and product, where you can buy the shit, the information. Dude, that's a fucking gold mine right there.
Well, and that's kind of the reason I jumped in. I was like, fuck it, I'll bite, I'll do it, and I did. But that was the thing back around like the end of October that I was worried about. Is how am I going to get into this? Do all my own PR, make potentially 50 to 100 masks a month,
right, and
sell all this shit while trying to pay all my bills. And I was like, fuck, I can't do it. So I got another job, did that for a while. And then one fucking day, there was this lady I was working with. And I have never had any tendencies where I was just like, dude, someone needs to hit you with a brick. You are a horrible fucking human being.
Yeah.
And this lady, who it was a quality assurance job.
Yeah.
And I've been doing quality shit for like 15 years. And I'm like, all right,
at ConAgra, you said.
Yeah, at ConAgra.
Yeah.
And I was actually hired at a high up position, and this lady was just like started accusing me of shit, like, oh, you're stealing stuff, you don't know how to do your fucking job. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then I left. I showed up to work and I left. I walked out, got in my car. My son's mom was at the house with my boy, and I walk in the door and she's like,
what are you doing here?
What are you doing? I'm like, I think I quit. She's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna start making masks again. I'm gonna do it full time.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it since what is it, beginning of April.
Yeah.
I've been at home nonstop, and I haven't slept in days.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about in the beginning.
It's like 2 to 3 hours of sleep at night.
Before we went on air, we were talking about that he's run ragged and that you're struggling to keep things together, dude.
A lot of caffeine, a lot of alcohol. I'm at this point right now that I'm probably just, my butthole's like a faucet. So I'm just pouring coffee down and it's just shooting out.
Same color and everything.
Fucking unicorn dicks and
there you go. Look at that.
Butts.
Look at that. We've got Tyler.
Was Jeff on there already? Oh, Tyler. That's my buddy from Idaho. He's actually in one of the
welcome, Tyler.
The new projects. You've probably seen me been slightly talking about.
Yeah.
Black metal project.
Awesome. And then what does it say? Slain Angel.
Oh, that's Jeff.
Hey, what's up, Jeffrey? Hefe.
Hefe
Tracy
looks
is
like a businessman now.
Yeah, no shit. He looks great,
looks
man.
Fucking
looks
good.
Fantastic, man. Tracy is one badass dude to Reno. His art shit is top notch. That is Astro Graham.
Oh, that's my other buddy.
Well, thank you for joining us, folks. We really appreciate it. He made a dope skull for my girlfriend last summer. Super cool, drippy black gore. 100% worth it. What is that a Q? No. KOPN. Do you know what that means?
That's one of our other friends.
Okay. And then Astrogram says coffee and rum.
Yep, that means we're drinking the night.
Yeah. That's good shit right there. So with in the middle of all that too, while you were doing that, you were creating music as well. You were doing like a fucking movie soundtrack or some shit, weren't you?
Yeah, I was doing some scores for a couple short films. I had another buddy who was doing Ian for IMG Effects out in Portland. He's got a YouTube channel that I did some music for and I'm still doing music for. And then there was another buddy who was doing shit for Amazon. And I've been him and a few
like
other,
the retailer Amazon,
like Prime.
Okay, gotcha.
And there was a few other friends that, or I should say acquaintances. This guy was a friend.
Sure.
That were in line for score work.
Yeah.
But I feel bad because it's like I was telling you before we started, it's that whole, I always tell customers, it's a 2 to 3 month ETA on a piece. Typically never takes me that long, but because of distributors, when the USPS loves to get shit late.
Oh, for sure.
Or broken.
Right.
So half the time I have to put in orders for inventory. I don't get it when I expect it.
It's been getting so much worse with
it
COVID
is worse.
shit too.
I've actually had to switch over to to FedEx, just to get, or FedEx Ground, just to get some of my shit a little faster.
Right.
And it just sucks because it's like, I'm a single dad. I've got my dog. Not that it's not, everyone's gonna think, well, you got a dog. That's not gonna make life. My dog likes to shit on the floor. So you know what? That plus a toddler.
So all three of you basically shit on the floor is what you're saying.
I shit in my pants. My kid shits in his pants. Actually, today.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. So does the kid change you? And then...
Well, maybe. That might be something in the next couple of years. So my kid was taking a bath because he wanted to play with his new Sea Life toys.
Yeah.
And he's like, Daddy, I farted. I'm like, yes, you did. He's like, you fart too. I'm like, nah, I don't. That's gross. He's like, yeah, you do. You fart all the time. I'm like, don't be letting people know that shit. Right. That ain't going to help my game.
Right. My dad
shits his pants.
Yeah.
You change me, but pretty soon you'll be wearing my diapers.
Right. There you go.
Yeah, that's...
That's fucking awesome, dude.
Parent life, man.
Yeah, dude. I know this.
I fucking love it.
I know this, man. I've been a parent for a little while.
I remember you giving me some good fucking dad advice back at Lee's Liquor Lounge right before we had our kid. We sat outside and you were like, man, you're a good guy. You're going to be a good dad. You got the shit. You're going to raise a good kid.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Your kid looks well adjusted.
That was actually that was also the day that we dressed up in the onesies for the Halloween benefit show.
Yeah.
Where Jeff was a chicken. Yeah. I was Superman with a huge bulge and a tight ass. Nathaniel was a dog. Rooster was a dinosaur. And Nathaniel also hit me in the fucking mouth with the neck of his guitar.
Oof.
I went down to grab the jug of water and he swung up to be all fucking stylish and cool. And when he realized he hit me in the mouth, he's like, shit. I'm like, no, don't worry. If I'm bleeding, no one's going to know.
Right.
Just like nobody knew I cut my stomach open at the Mushroom Head show.
With one of the blades that you
One of the blades. I forgot to wear my plate, and I sliced my stomach open under my belly button. And when I got done, or I looked over at Nathaniel, and he was like, he was kind of lipping, whatever the fuck it was. He was mouthing it to me.
Yeah.
He's like, you okay? I'm like, no, keep playing. And I didn't realize how deep it was until we got off stage. We went up, had to talk to the one of the bartenders to see if she could get a med kit. And I pulled my shirt up, and I'm like, oh, shit. She's like, is that fucking tissue? I'm like, yeah, that white stuff. Yeah, that's tissue. It was like a fucking inch and a half long, about an 1/8 inch deep.
Ooh.
And she was sitting there trying to put some butterfly bandages on. And this bartender... I've never seen someone laugh so fucking hard trying to heal an injury.
Yeah.
She's like, you're fucking so hairy. It won't stay on.
What, did she end up shaving you before it happened or what?
No, they came around with some duct tape and saran wrap, and they're like, here, just spin in fucking circles.
That's hilarious.
So we got some like dial soap, slapped that fucker on, and I spun around. And I skipped work the next day, and my boss was like, what happened? I sent him a picture. He's like, damn, that looks bad. I'm like, yeah, I cut myself. A knife slipped on the counter, and I was cutting an apple for breakfast. And I thought afterwards how fucking stupid that sounded. I'm like, who the fuck gets a big-ass knife to cut an apple and for breakfast?
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid.
What were you...
Like, were you resting it on your stomach? Like, this is a really tough fucking Granny Smith. It ain't fucking going nowhere. And, I cut myself pretty good. But... it's okay. If my kid ever asks, I'm going to be like, dude, I fought a bear. How do you think you were born?
Right.
Bear fucking tried to attack your mom, punched that fucker in the jaw.
Yep.
That's the bear hide that we have out in the shed.
That's awesome.
I killed it.
Oh, yeah. So what, now, are you still doing the Promidal thing? Are you still, what projects do you got going on right now?
So that's something I've been asked a lot, even by the band members. So for like I haven't really talked about it too much. Like for the last 3 years, my voice has been like shitting out on me hardcore, like really fucking bad, where...
Oh, he's going to know how dumb you are.
Fuck you. You know what? She deserves that though. That's I had that coming.
Yeah.
No, but I've been losing my voice for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, all the shows I did before, I was ingesting different fucking paints, actual blood, animal parts, all sorts of shit, and all the drugs and the whole music lifestyle. I thought, I bet it's catching up with me.
How old are you now?
I'm 32, and I've done more shit than I probably should admit that I've done. As I'm sitting here drinking a Mike's Harder mango.
Maybe.
Yum.
Maybe it's catching up with you. You never know.
I don't know. I that's what I figured it was, because there was times where I'd be talking and my voice would it was like fucking mute.
Right.
Like I didn't have a sore throat, nothing, but it would just shut off. I could get no sound out. And
scar tissue, buddy.
And I had a couple buddies saying, like, it might be due to the temperature, because when it was colder, it would get worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes it kicks in during the summer a little bit. At least this year, I've noticed. So I basically, Promidal's got a full album done. We just needed to record our bass and vocals. What dumbass shit am I going to have to read now?
Chug that Mike's Harder, no balls.
Balls of steel.
This is the fun part about the live version of this show is that you got people that will come in and fucking get loose on you real quick.
Dude, I've been doing that lately. Like, so Astro, him and I do a lot of VR shit.
Yeah.
And we'll go on, and I love Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
So we'll go on, and I'll start fucking with people.
Yeah.
And we'll go into a room, and people will be like, man, what is... You can't do this. And I'll be like, I got balls of steel. I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Duke Nukem quotes and shit.
Oh, God, I love it. I love it.
There you go.
But, yeah, it's... Promidal's still going. We got the full album done. We just need bass and vocals, and the thing I've lost now is my variety of range.
Yeah.
So with my buddy Tyler, who's jumping in on here.
Yeah.
We got Tyler. His band is Forest King in Idaho. We got our bass player Lyndon from Pit Lord out in Davenport, and then we got Jake and myself, obviously from Minnesota.
Right.
And we're doing Forge Masters, so it's primarily black metal infused folk.
Right. Now, this was something that you guys were working on before?
Yeah, yeah, so the funny thing is we've actually got like an album and 2 EPs that we haven't released.
No shit.
Because, yeah, we
have all this material. Why wouldn't you release it?
Well, because we were usually waiting on somebody else.
Yeah.
So then what happened is Tyler and I decided, okay, let's just get drunk. We'll go on Discord and we'll write some shit, and then we'll just release it and just say, like, here we are.
Yeah.
We're good to go. And then it was kind of, for me, like a vocal test to get my voice back in order to do my, as everybody likes to call, baby Abbott vocals.
Yeah.
I'll
take baby ABBA.
ABBA. I love ABBA. Yeah, my baby Abbott. But I'll take that one to the grave. That I count that as a win.
That's a good one.
So we decided to give that a go, and we ended up dishing out. We had 3 songs we finished last summer, and 3 we just did now. So we're gonna have a full length coming up here soon, and it's funny because the few posts we've put out there, I know like Facebook and shit like that. I try to not let it, hit my head as these statistics count as anything.
Yeah.
But the second we even like put the page out there, like in
over
under
it.
24 hours we hit like 500 likes, and I thought, okay, well that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And then we started getting asked, like, oh, you guys going to play shows this summer? Like, would you guys want to play a show?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we ain't even done with the fucking album yet.
Right.
Well,
that's what happens when you put it out there, man. You know what I mean?
But I figured if I don't put it out there, it'd end up on the back burner.
Again.
So I thought, yeah, again.
Yeah.
For like the 5th time. So I thought, let's just fucking do it. And that way we're kind of forced to finish it.
Yeah.
And then I can get that momentum back and bring Promidal where it needs to be. Because
Right.
I think the biggest thing for Promidal and all of us right now is we haven't had a place to practice.
Sure.
And not having a place to practice with
the fucking COVID shit, I mean, that it's so difficult to, like, You know what I mean? You're going to shell out a bunch of money when you're, you know what I mean? People are having a hard time even fucking getting work or like working.
Exactly.
And then, you know, one guy or the other guy is going to have to cover other people to do it. I mean, it becomes a stressful situation, you know, when you're
tough.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's tough. And that was kind of a big thing too, is I thought, well, you know, the guys they cut me some slack on it because they're like, well, now you're doing your business, so we're not going to harp you about it.
Right.
But at the same time, I know that they're in the same boat as me. We want to get that fucking album out.
Sure.
You know, but the way we would always do it is we'd go into the practice space and we'd pick a new song off the whiteboard and be like, okay, so here's the album. Which one do we want to practice? And basically, that's when I would first try lyrics and be like, does it fit in this song? Does it sound right?
Right.
Then we would get ready. We'd hit somebody up to go and record.
Sure.
Get that done. And then we'd be on our way.
So you have all the material. You're just taking your time to get it all together. Now, is this something that you could release track by track? Is it something that you guys could go in and record, you know, do an EP? Or are you trying to do a full length? Or
it's a full length.
Okay.
And we even had the idea that we had talked about, kind of mulled it around a little bit, where I love the whole 80s aesthetic of horror.
Right.
Hence my Terra Class Aesthetics, all my masks is kind of like old school slasher shit.
Right.
I had the idea of, well, if we do the lyrics, you know, Jeff was saying, well, let's make it like a full story, you know, front to back, and or maybe, I don't know if women like it back to front to back, whichever. I mean,
whatever doesn't give them a yeast infection.
Exactly. Get me drunk enough, I won't even know the difference.
Is that yogurt?
What the fuck is that? Tastes like pudding. That ain't pudding. I know what I'm putting. Putting my dick right in your ass.
Probably be safer at that point.
God damn it, I missed your ass. This is fun. No, but what we were going to do is Jeff had the idea of, let's, you know, because it's all still Lovecraftian shit.
Right.
And we wanted to have it a story. And the story was going to be about, oh my God, having trouble breathing.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I'm dying.
Don't die here.
So the idea was to basically have it as the end, like the existence of mankind, viewing all the cosmic horrors that we're not supposed to see.
Right.
And we wanted to have it from beginning to end, where the album might start with, you hear footsteps, and it's man walking in, and the song would tell the story of different gods engaging in whatever. And then I had the idea of, what if every music video, what if we do all these short music videos per song?
Right.
And, you know, we film them as legit high-end videos.
Yeah.
And then in between, we do it almost like found footage horror, where it's, you know, the viewer or mankind viewing these entities, which would be the band and all these gods, and it would tell a story from start to finish. Because when COVID hit, everyone was, well, we're going to charge $20 so you can come and see our band practice on fucking YouTube or Facebook. You can suck my ass. I'm not going to pay fucking money to watch you practice.
Right.
But I figured that with that in mind, that's probably going to be some sort of new venue or a new avenue of music getting pushed out there. And I thought, well, what if we just focus more on the theatrical aspect and keep the band like a movie?
Right.
You know, because it's always been like that anyways.
Sure.
We've always done visual arts for that. And I thought, if we do that, we can make it a movie. We can do a limited release on VH-S.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Where if you get this at the end, there would be like a special code we'd have only in the VHS movie.
Right. And
you could download with that code a set of tracks that are only available for that.
That's a great idea. What happened to that? What happened? What's going on?
I started right when we were getting ready to actually record. Jeff and I had dates set up is when my voice started really kicking in where I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, unless you want to record me whispering or hire a different vocalist, that ain't going to happen now.
Right.
And then that's when my home business started picking up.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone else had their whole life. Jeff had his whole deal with his apartment in the roaches and all that fun shit. Yeah. You know, everyone's been busy. COVID shit's affected everybody differently.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to think for a lot of people it's been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I think I had a really good job where I made a shit ton of money, and now I really don't make any money at all, but I'm home with my kid and my dog, and I couldn't be fucking happier scraping by. Like, I know to some people that probably sounds stupid, but it's like I would rather make
Not to me, dude.
I'd rather make
Not
a
to
little
me.
bit of money and scrape by
And be happy,
and
dude.
be home with my boy than working all the time where he's just wondering where the fuck I am. You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Like-
Going to daycare.
Yeah,
See you at 4:30, 5 o'clock
No,
for
fuck-
a couple hours.
Fuck that shit. I'm going to go home and I'm going to hear my son grab the remote and I'm going to hear that fucking Blippy theme song and be like, fuck, is it too early for a Ryan Reynolds aviation vasectomy drink? Because I'm having one right now. Alex was like, we should get a picture and we should have you drinking it with kind of him teasing in the background and tag Ryan Reynolds on Twitter. Just be like, yeah, vasectomy. Makes you fucking forget all about your kids.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. So now, have you got your throat checked out? Have you went to the doctor over it?
I haven't had insurance since fucking 2020.
Yeah.
April. I haven't had insurance at all. I keep forgetting to even try to get state insurance because
Yeah.
I'm just stuck in the shop and I'll be like, okay, here's today's plan. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to make coffee, I'm going to fucking sit at the computer and apply for state medical insurance.
Right.
I got to go get this job done. So let's do this for 8 hours, listen to some music, and I'm going to forget all about it. And then I do.
Yeah.
So it's like that, you know, I don't care. I mean, I do care because I want to get that shit figured out because there's part of me it's that hypochondriac
Yeah.
in me that's like, what if it's throat cancer?
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing is it's probably not. It's more than likely not.
right for us.
Be like, oh, they're coming up.
I should make jokes like that. Next thing you know, I'll be diagnosed with it. That's kind of how it works in the world. Oh, fuck.
No, it is what it is. I mean, the way I look at it, whatever the fuck it is, I haven't killed my ass yet, and I'm still doing vocals. I'm still doing music.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people where if I go to the doctor and they're like, well, we're sorry to inform you, but you're going to die in the next year. Well, fuck you for spoiling the fucking surprise.
Right.
You could have just not said shit.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed
Do
the
you
next
want
year.
the good news or the bad news? Well,
Because
give
the
me
bad news is
Yeah.
your insurance was declined.
Yeah.
The good news is you got a year. But you got a year. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. So with pushing your vocals on this newer stuff, have you noticed it coming and going? Is it still?
I haven't noticed because, for those who listen to Immortal and Abbott and the shit he's done,
Yep.
that's pretty much the main vocals I do is the kind of cackle, low end or mid range vocals,
Right.
And I can hold that shit for a while. It doesn't affect or hurt at all.
Yeah.
But my high end screams that I was doing for Promidal and then my low gutturals, I can't hit those as often, and I noticed that when I do, I've got to take a breath way more often than I should.
Right.
And
It means you shouldn't be doing the shit, buddy.
and it's like there's a lot of shit I shouldn't do.
Well, and that doesn't mean that
And-
you have to quit doing it. It just means you have to regulate it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you have to like give yourself an allotment of where you can do it. Like
And
I
that's
could
the
start
thing.
out with the heavy shit, like the lower shit, stay mids, and then selectively.
So
go
the last
high.
album that we did, I can be doing it in the studio, with Will.
Yeah.
I had no problem recording it whatsoever.
Right.
But then transitioning to live,
Yeah. You can't.
I'm
hear
doing
as well.
3 different ranges of vocals.
Yeah, but you can't hear it as well either. It's not like you
It's-
have those headphones on.
No, and,
know?
and I'd be going between 3 different variations, which I'd watch footage that people would catch at the shows, and I'm just like, damn, that actually sounded better than I anticipated.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like I could do it for, a couple shows a month, a couple a week, whatever.
Yeah.
But every time we talked about or we got offered to go on a tour,
Yeah.
I remember Nathaniel even asking me because we always kind of called him the Promo Dad.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much the one
Sure.
that kept everyone's ass
yeah,
in
yeah.
fucking line.
Yeah.
Because I've obviously passed out in your bathroom drunk on the show before, so.
Well, not after the show.
Oh, was
wait,
it?
no, it was
No,
during
it
the
was
show,
during the
too.
show.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
disappeared to pee, and I wasn't back with a bunch of members that literally just
Dude,
joined and had no clue what
the
was
best
going
part
on.
about that was that you were trying to talk into the side of the microphone, and I'm like, dude, talking to the microphone, and you were like, I am talking into the microphone.
The side of it.
Dude, it was fantastic.
Yeah, no, he would even ask me like, do you think you could do this for like 2 weeks straight?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. And if I did, I basically would have to drop out certain parts of vocals or vocal styles to keep it sort of regulated.
Right.
And that's why I think with this project,
Can
Forge
any of those
Master-
other guys hit any of those parts? Is like, can one guy, like the
only
Grand
person-
Demise guys, the Grand Demise guys do that where, one
They would
guy
do the triple attack.
Yeah, but they would switch it up. Not one guy would be.
That's actually something we've been talking about doing for this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this on the air. He didn't tell me I didn't have permission.
Don't worry, there's only like 4 people watching anyway.
Exactly. No one's gonna pay attention. They don't even know who the fuck Sean is. They ain't gonna give a shit. But I mean, Sean was with Grand Demise for a long time, and he really liked the idea of implementing the triple attack.
Yeah.
And he's doing bass for Promidal.
Oh wow.
Once we get that shit in, I'm getting him over. We're recording it and everything.
Right.
And I've even told him, I'm like, dude, nobody in the fucking state, or at least in the Midwest, has your lows.
Right.
No one can replicate that. I mean, you just,
Even since we were kids, you know what I mean? So, I've known him fucking for 30 years, you know what I mean? Nobody's been able to do that type of shit.
That's
Locally, anyway.
no. I mean, unless you're in fucking Greece and you're like a goddamn demigod, you're not spewing that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we should do triple attack. 'Cause
Jeffrey.
I can definitely hold my own on that, and Jeff's got really good highs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there was even times I had even told the guys, I'm like, if it ever came down to it, I've even thought of the idea, and this is a worst case scenario.
Right.
I don't plan on doing this unless for some reason I see a doctor and they're like, you need to stop doing what you're doing.
Right.
At that point, I'm not going to listen and probably go against it. But I've even talked about Jake eventually being my predecessor and taking over.
Right.
Because his vocals are fucking phenomenal, and they are the closest to my style and my range.
Yeah.
But, Jake, if you're watching and listening, don't get
Twitter's
your head
about to
full.
blow a load.
Okay? Don't blow a load on this because you're not getting my job yet. But yeah, it was an idea because I thought, realistically, I'm getting older, and if my voice fucking shits out.
You're not that old yet, dude.
When people say, you're still young.
You don't do enough cocaine for your voice to be gone like that. Trust me, dude. 20 years of doing cocaine and I still have a voice.
The animal blood.
And a nose.
The animal blood and animal parts and the amount of paint I have consumed. I'm pretty sure there was an episode of Bob Vila back in the day where he's probably like, no, don't consume paint.
Have you ever seen any of the natives that are underneath the Minneapolis bridges that huff paint? They're still alive.
They probably were at my shows, and they're like, that guy's, he's on to something.
They're like,
according to this guy, tempera paint is the best shit to huff.
You need to fucking drink more Listerine is what you need to do. That's fucking smoke a couple pinners, bro.
Because these motherfuckers got balls of steel.
Yeah, his Toxic Avenger farts are going to be all over the internet.
Who the fuck? Who said that?
Oh, what's with Tracy's flatulence? I'm not sure.
I mean, it's you get me on the wrong day or the right day. It's gonna be. I love tacos. I mean, we can relate. We can relate.
Oh yeah,
taco truck tacos.
Oh yeah,
Cambridge has a taco truck.
Yeah, how good is it?
Shit's fire.
Really?
It's fire. It's good.
Nice.
I gave one to my son, and I'm like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, I pooped. I'm like, yeah, you fucking did. All over your legs, your shoes, my fucking hand.
What, from the taco?
It had to have been. Yeah. Because I had the runs like a mother. It was like Logan's Run in my pants. Like when I got done, there was a jewel on my fucking hand.
So they were good tacos, or they were bad?
They were good.
They tasted good.
It's like Taco Bell. It's like you keep going back for more, even though it's a bad idea.
Well, that's not a good taco truck if that's the case. You got to get the good taco trucks that stay in there. You don't want them to. You got to keep the nutrients, man. You can't.
I've had this fight with people before. I still think Taco John's is one of the best fast food taco places.
That's my favorite.
I love it because I never feel like shit after I eat there.
Right. I like it. I've always liked taco. Logan's runs. It's like an echo. It's like an echo on the chat here. That's fantastic. I love it. Him and Jason trade off farts while me and Nathaniel escape their gas stations. Into gas stations, I guess.
Oh God, yeah. When we went and played the Mad Max festival in Detroit, yeah. We were stuck in a car.
Dude, I wanted to go with you guys so bad.
I wanted you to come with so bad.
God, I wanted to take pictures of all that shit. Holy.
It was so much fun. and that car smelled so fucking bad. And Jeff bitched and moaned the whole time about, and he'll probably say something in like 2 seconds about how he didn't. But he bitched and moaned, and we're just like, all three of us, Nathaniel and Rooster and I, were just like, you're sitting in the back third row seat on a laptop. You ain't fucking driving. You don't get to bitch.
Yeah.
So we'd be sitting there, you know, passing farts. I would not tell anybody, though, when I was driving. I'd turn on the heated seats.
Warm it up, get it nice
like,
and
all
hot,
right, guys.
Shit.
Yep. We're about to deep fry this motherfucker.
Oh, just like fucking grilled cheese farts, dude. Yes, fuck it.
Pull that bread apart.
I think it's time to flip my ass over. That's fucking hilarious.
I don't know if it's something that comes with age. I feel
gas?
like
More gas?
no, the ability, the lack of shame.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like, what the fuck is shame? I don't know that. Where you just, people are like,
He
that's
just-
disgusting.
He just
I don't
says,
fucking care.
"Goddamn right, I bitched." Anytime he ends up getting that shit, he turns whatever he is into a full on gas chamber. Oh, he's talking about talking about Taco John's.
We stopped at when we were on our way down to Detroit, we stopped at a gas station in Wisconsin. This was the creepiest fucking place I've ever been.
Yeah.
But they had these they looked like fucking love dolls, but they were like Raggedy Ann. Like shit you could probably maybe not intended to fuck but haunt you afterwards.
Yeah.
And we went in there, and the second we walked in, I'm
Wait
like,
a second. What part of Wisconsin was this in?
the part with extra cheese. We got there, and the second we walked in, like, I was like, this place already smells like a fucking jizz rag stuffed up an ass. It was bad. So I got out to the car before everybody else, and I farted in the third row seat. I'm like, dude, Jeff's gonna fucking hate me, and I just, and then we get in the car, and Jeff's like, God, it stinks in here, and he'd gotten an extension cord so he could play his video games. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It must be lingering or something. I never told him until he's heard it today, so now he knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I planted them fuckers back there like landmines. It's like Snake on a Nokia. It doesn't matter which direction you go in, you're gonna hit that wall eventually.
Right. That's hilarious, man. That's good stuff. It's the fart game, man. Everybody likes the fart game, you know?
Yep.
Unless you have that one player that's like, you know, the sulfur farts, you know what I mean? The bad sulfur farts or the diaper farts. It smells like a kid shit, like you shit a kid's diaper out of your ass. That's
So if there's
always
any you know, people in the world that are like, you know what, he's a cute guy, I'd date him, they're gonna basically regret saying and thinking that after I say this.
Unless they're really in the poop fetish thing.
The comparison to me would be a dog. And everyone knows how bad a dog's fart is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad. Why is Tracy about to throw up? Dude, I farted. I can't handle it.
So do you have that problem like changing resin? Do you get fucking?
Oh God! When he was born, he threw up, sneezed, like in my mouth all at the same time, and I'm like, well, you know what? There's nothing more worse. This is rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, he like launched a turd out of his ass like a missile, and
that didn't land in your mouth, did it?
God, no, it didn't. Thank fucking God. No, I went in and I remember Alex was coming into the bedroom, and I remember her saying this. She's like, something looks wrong. You should look and check. I'm concerned. And I'm like, nah, I've seen this fucking movie. I ain't doing that shit. And the second she gets a little bit close, just shoots right across the room, hits the TV, my arm's covered, and I'm like, ah! And she runs in, she's like, well, are you going to clean him? Like, I'm like, no, you fucking get him. I just looked like I stuck my arm in a cow's ass. Like, it's fucking gross.
He just fucking doused you with shit.
I can deal with vomit and, like, cleaning up poo, but, like, boogers in my no. I don't do that shit. That's gross.
Yeah?
Yeah, you sneeze, I'm out.
Really?
I mean, if you sneeze, I'm not going to be like, that's gross, I got to leave. No,
Yeah.
But if my kid sneezes, it's like,
You get a hanger like the fucking.
dude, you better suck that right the fuck back in.
No
'cause
shit, huh?
I'll throw up all over your face.
Really?
No regrets, yeah.
But poop doesn't bother you.
Fuck no.
Puke doesn't bother you.
My dog sleeps across me and farts on my face. I'm surprised I haven't gotten dog pink eye in the last couple months.
That's some bad shit too. Dog pink eye. That's fantastic.
The worst is like my dog will look at me
Let's
too.
be honest though. Rez has inherited Tracy's stink bombs.
I mean, not yet. He's got 20 years to pick that shit up. But the dog, I'll get like sleep on my couch, and my dog. This is the worst thing. I'll be on the couch, and my dog will just get up, peer head at me, and then right in my face, and she's just give me the look like,
what?
You didn't take me on a walk today.
That's what you get right there.
I hope you get fucking pink eye.
Right.
Feed my bowl now.
Yeah, that's fucking out of hand.
But aside from the dog and the farts and the poop and all the other weird, gross ass shit I deal with on a day-to-day basis, I make wallets too.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, wallets, eyeball wallets, fucking tattered skin wallets, all kinds of stuff, and aprons too, right?
I made a pussy wallet today too.
Did you?
Yep.
Like a full-on?
It's called the meat sleeve.
Nice.
Yep. I had a customer ask me.
Wait, you got to make a fucking butthole one and call it the prison wallet.
Yes. That's gonna happen.
That's got to happen.
I'm gonna happen, and I'm gonna tag you in it.
the fucking the rusty sheriff's badge. They call it, when you flip it open, it's got to have a sheriff.
And just so it's Facebook safe, I'm gonna call it Taco Aftermath.
There you go.
Just in case anybody asks.
Taco John's gone bad. Is there Taco John's in Cambridge?
It's the only taco place in Cambridge.
Really? Besides
Next to
the taco truck?
Yeah.
The taco. So where's the taco truck?
Right across from Taco John's.
Really? They're like competing.
So it's like you've got like Taco John's, and then you got the taco truck, and then there's like a fucking Wells Fargo in the middle.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure the bank is placing bets on who's going to make more money in the week. But
the
truck's across my tattoo shop, so I figure.
He said fucking prison wallet. Holy shit, that's amazing. I every now and again I'll have an amazing one, but that
prison wallet. Yeah. I've been doing wallets.
But you wait here just to add to that, you have to be able to pull a shank out of it in some way, shape, or form because it's a prison wallet. You got to put things in your prison wallet.
It'd be so fun to make some sort of hidden compartment where like your ID goes. Where you just maybe pull a little dingleberry out of the ass, and then a little sleeve pops out, and there's your ID. Like, sir, I need to make sure that you're over the age of 18.
You're like this. You
All right.
Flip it open. Yep. Little tampon.
They're just gonna look at you like, what the fuck is that? It's my wallet.
So the wizard sleeve you made today.
The whispering eye.
Yeah. The cock puppet. What? So what does it look? Does it look legit? What did you bring pictures? Did you?
Yeah. Not that anybody on the
you
screen
just show it to the camera right there. You can show it to us.
Oh, I can show it to the camera. Perfect.
Yes,
this is perfect.
Craig Rosen's beard checks in. What's going on, buddy? Good to have you.
So there's the prison wallet.
That's not the vagina one, right?
No, it is. It's. I had to look up pictures of a deceased vagina.
I see it now.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
That's hilarious, dude. It is on your Facebook. I did see that on the Facebook too.
Yeah, I had to label it as an ear just because I figured it's the safest bet.
Wow, dude. That's scary. So you looked up a dead giny.
I'm going to tell you right now. The next time I go to eat out on a nice night off, that research I had to do for that job definitely ruined that for me.
No shit.
I thought childbirth was going to make it bad, but no. Nope. Looking up a dead vagina.
I mean, how many? I've never looked up a dead vagina. I'm going to have to look.
Well, I had to look and see like what rigor mortis would look like and all this other shit. And I'm like, what would it look like?
Did you find pictures though?
Unfortunately, I did.
Wow. So how do you word that to get those? Because here, let me check. Let me tell you this story real quick. So I'm a fan of muscle women. I think women that are massive muscle wise, I find that attractive. I don't know why, but I just Googled muscle pussy one day, and let me tell you something. A woman that's on steroids starts to grow a gigantic clitoris. So that was the vision. So I told my friend's wife at the time, you got to Google muscle pussy. And she's like, why? And I told her, I'm into muscle chicks. And she's like, why? And I said, I don't fucking know, but I had to look up muscle pussy. This is a conversation that I've had multiple times with guys at work, dudes that I know. Every hot celebrity.
See, the thing is that when I leave, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, so every celebrity every hot celebrity, I'm like, their name, naked. That's what my Google should say. If I put somebody's name in there, it should just automatically
say
put naked
right at the end.
Exactly. So, muscle pussy. Yeah, definitely. It's like
I feel like if I look it up, it's going to look like something that's going to punch my dick straight off.
Pretty much. It's interesting. You holy shit. Holy shit. Did I Google that? Did you see the micro penis? Did you see that thing? Dude, it's
if
amazing.
it looks like a hot dog hanging out between two buns, that's probably
it's like a Vienna sausage. It's really weird because it's like, you got the hood and then it's like it just hangs over the top. So there's
it's like a scared turtle.
Yeah, like a green bean kind of,
Well, I guess that goes to show flick the bean.
All right, this has gone off the rails way. Of course you did. Did you see what I was talking about? Forever unclean. Yes, I'm telling you. It looks like a Reuben sandwich.
I should have warned Astro and some of my buddies that, yeah, Greg and I together in one room. There is nothing is holding us back.
No, not at all. I mean, you can try to, but.
So aside from the meat sleeve and the other wallets with the eyes and teeth and all that fun jazz, I was recently commissioned to do a fanny pack. And let me tell you, I've never been so excited to make something. That thing would punch you right in the dick. Yeah,
right in the dick. I want to show this, but I don't want to show this. Look at All right, man. That's gonna get me kicked off of YouTube. I know that. This should be in school curriculum. I agree with you, Jeff.
It's a whole different appendage.
Yes, it really is, man. It's kind of scary. So how did you start doing wallets and shit like that?
So, it was actually recently, or I guess not recently, but in the last 6 months, I went to Walmart and I got a new wallet because the last one I had was falling apart, but it was a pretty simple style wallet, and it was just sitting on my desk, and I thought, I really want to try to replicate this style of wallet and see if I can do it in leather and.
Well, if it was falling apart, were you able to figure out how it was put together? I mean, obviously.
Well, it was. I just needed a new wallet.
Right.
I just needed a wallet. There was edges on it that were falling apart. So what I did is I looked at it. I started measuring all the angles and corners on it, and I thought, I'll get some tack board and I'll make some templates. I'll cut out some leather and some of the material and see what I can do. I made my first one, which was the eyeball and all the guts, and I made it too thick. But I knew right after that everything I didn't need to do to perfect it.
Sure.
And then actually Tyler, who's on here watching, I ended up making his. He was the second one I did, and I realized, okay, this is how I need to make this appropriately. This material is going to stretch. This material is going to stay solid. So
I'm really scarred right now. I can't even believe that I just looked at a muscle pussy and we're talking about a wallet. All I see is just this catcher's mitt in my face. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking catcher's mitt. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I had to cut you off there.
Well, it's definitely catching something. new age VD that we've never heard of.
Steroid.
We're just gonna call it. We should just call. Everyone gets the clap. Let's just call it catcher's mitt. Sorry, honey, I got a case of the catcher's mitt.
Just fucking.
And he's out. Strike 3.
Yep.
Ball. Only one. Ball of steel.
Yep, that's it.
Anytime I can do a Duke Nukem quote, I'm gonna fucking do it. But yeah, the wallets. I just thought I'm gonna try it, and then I didn't expect the wallets to actually take off. Like that's one of the big sellers I've had is the wallets.
Yeah.
And I've been getting asked from like fucking South Africa, Belgium, Germany, France, and I'm thinking like initially I was only going to do sales in the States, but then I started seeing that people really wanted it, and I thought I'm not going to say no.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the shipping's got to be ridiculous over there.
So It is. I mean, like for an average package, like for most of my masks, an average package to ship overseas is usually about $80
Yeah.
for shipping.
Yeah.
But it also is based on. It's actually more based on the size of the box than it is the weight.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually just the weight.
Yeah.
But they had told me actually at the post office, like, yeah, it's more often than none, it's going to be the size of the box you use. If you can decompress and make everything tightly fit in something smaller, it's going to be a little cheaper. So,
Right.
so you might be able to get first class shipping for $30 rather than $80.
Right.
But I also leave the option open to the customer because if they want it, if they're just like, well, I have my full and utmost trust in the USPS to get that here, I will gladly pay $80. Or, if you're like, if you want fucking, UPS
Drop
or
ship fucking
or whatever,
stork.
like, I'm open to it. I'm not going to complain, but at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody gets exactly what they want made to detail. One of the biggest things I've been getting hit for, though, like I said, I recently got commissioned to do a fanny pack, actually by am I able to say people's names?
Yeah,
Is that okay?
you can say whatever you want.
Veronica Erickson,
Yeah,
tattoo
yeah.
artist.
Yeah, right.
She was asking for one. She actually has one of my masks.
Nice.
That she got at my booth at the Dead End.
Yeah. Now does she have it in her tattoo booth or anything?
I think she tagged me in a post with it at the booth.
Nice.
I think she was wearing it too,
Yeah.
so that's cool.
Yeah.
But she asked for a fanny pack, and when I started seeing people getting excited about the idea of a fanny pack, I'm like, dude, I've got fucking 6 of these. Alex and everybody else has been calling me names for wearing one.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'll rock my short shorts, my sandals, my aviators, my backwards fucking hat.
Yeah.
You can suck my dick to the
Yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
I'm making fanny packs. So I'm super stoked to get more of that done.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
So have you started on hers yet?
I had. I started the template and I got all the materials ready. It's just it's like when I do a project, I'll do like 3 to 4 different jobs in a day.
Okay.
And try to get everything going.
Sure.
Because the more I can't finish. I could finish one in a day if I gave it all my attention.
So if you had 4 projects and they all had a C on it, you would cut a C and have a C on every single one of them before you completed one, right? You just try to keep everything rolling at the same time.
Yeah, so like when I get mask orders in, I'll try to focus, like mask orders and wallet orders, for example. I don't try to do both at the same time,
Right?
Because I'm going to have different paints and materials out to get those done. But if I have a bunch of masks that are curing and I'm doing 3 in a day, those can sit and I can jump back in the next day because with how I treat them and cure them, they're going to need an extra day, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump into the wallets. And if I have somebody who maybe ordered, say I took somebody who made an order a month ago, but I couldn't get to him right away until now, and a guy just ordered a week ago, that guy that ordered a week ago is going to be in the same startup because I'm going to be pulling all those templates out and starting everybody's because now I have the time to do that.
Right.
And that's why I give everybody the 2 to 3 months because it makes it easier to get everything done with that type of job I'm doing.
Now with them being that far out, are you taking payments in pre advance?
I only do payments up front.
Okay.
Because that covers my time. It covers material costs because I go through materials like fucking crazy.
Right.
And then there's also a portion that goes back to keep the shop going. And since the shop's in my house, I got to pay for the electric that I constantly have to have running to keep the shop going.
Right.
And then I'm trying to think what else I fucking had started doing. I started doing belts. I don't have any that I've been able to show. I've been doing like bags, like purses, handbags, which I've had a couple pictures of some in the works, but it's literally just cutouts of like skin of hands.
Right.
So handbag.
Right.
But I did get, I think my favorite though is I had a customer hit me up about a wallet, and I'm actually shipping hers out this week. And she's like, oh, I really want this wallet, a gory wallet for my son before he ships out in September. And I thought, awesome, I will happily get one for you. And she's like, I really love your work. I've been following you for the last year. I have a cousin who loves golf, and I want a bag for him to put his balls in. And I'm like, I like where this is going. And she's like, could you make a giant scrotum for him to put his balls in? Just a big ball sack. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to give you a discount because that's a great fucking idea.
Yeah.
I want to make a big nutsack.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to post that on Facebook, but I'll do it. It's a ball bag.
That's fucking fantastic, dude. What? Now that's like a fantastic part of having a job like that, doing art like that.
So
you've got people that are into the shit.
So you saw the name on there, Copen?
Yeah.
So Graham and I, we were playing some games on VR. And one of our friends, we were chatting, and I was like, "Oh, Graham." So I finished making a vagina today on a wallet.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone in the conversation's like, What?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, he does stuff for film and bands. He made a vagina wallet." It's like, yep, made a fucking meat sleeve.
Yeah.
Like,
wizard sleeve.
What's up? This is part of my job. It's fun. It's weird to think that it's my job.
That's fucking fantastic.
It's
dude.
so weird.
And
still hasn't hit
Are you
me.
just basically doing your stuff just on Facebook right now? Do you have a website?
The website's been down for a while because I'm going through Big Cartel.
Yeah.
And pretty much what I put up, what I'm redoing it as is it'll be the styles of each product I do. And it'll have various pictures of each one.
Right.
Unfortunately, if I want to go free, they only give you one fucking picture. And it's
Right.
it doesn't leave much to the customer's imagination to go
Sure.
off of. So, I'm refixing that. And then pretty much all my customers in the last year and a half, I thought, well, be kind of good to just take the collective of customer gallery photos
Right.
and build a gallery and release the website better. But right now, it's actually just been Facebook and word of mouth.
Right. But it's still keeping the lights on.
It's keeping the lights on. It's paying the bills, keeping the business going. And the one thing I love telling people that people seem to be, I feel like I'm a dick when I say it because I'm trying to be as nice as possible.
Sure.
And as well spoken and written as I can when I respond to messages.
Right.
But people will be like, "Oh, can I order this?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, my website, my pages, I let people know everything is custom per order.
Sure.
What you see online that I post, those are not available. There's some things I have in stock, but I will
Right.
list them as such, which means if you want something and you see something you like, I can loosely base it off that design.
Yeah.
But every single item I have made out of the 400 masks I have created by hand,
Right.
there are no two alike.
Right.
And that's kind of, I don't want to say that that's kind of the whole shtick of, if you want something original and custom, buy my shit.
Right.
Because you're never going to have, it's not like if you go and buy your favorite mask online and you run into somebody else and you're like, "Oh, we got the same mask."
Right.
Like yours is custom to you and your preference.
Right.
Same
Right.
with the wallet, with aprons, any items that I make, they are
Yeah.
custom to you and you alone.
Yeah, I've had that with the t-shirts I've done too. You know what I mean? Like they want the V that I've done. It's like green and whatever.
Yeah, with your tie dye.
Yeah, and I've told people, yes, I can do something very similar to that. It could be better than the one you just saw.
Sure.
It could be just different than the one you saw. You know what I mean?
And
It's
sometimes
so
you get
hard
one
to
that's worse,
Yeah.
in your opinion,
Yeah.
because you're the one making it and you're
Yeah.
like, "God, this really fucking sucks. I hope they don't hate it."
Right. I've done that before, and I've sent them pictures of it and say, what do you think of this? First thing they say is, "That's fucking badass,"
And then you're like, "Good, because I think it sucks."
Yeah.
But if you like
Yeah.
it, you know what? I'll take your money.
Yep.
and I hate saying that because sometimes people are just like, "Well, you just care about the money." Well, you know what? To a degree, yes, I do, because the only reason you're gonna get custom shit from me is if I can pay the bills
Right.
and if I can keep the business going.
Right.
And that's, it's like anybody doing solo shit. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that I think the pandemic was kind of a blessing in disguise, like a Kickstarter for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people out there that didn't have the opportunity to really get that catch up in life that they needed.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot of people out. I also think a lot of people took advantage of it, spent all the money, and were like, "Well, the government should give me more money." Well, realistically, with the way you spent it, no, they shouldn't, because
Yeah.
you got piss poor fucking financial skills.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I knew used that, and they took advantage of it, and they invested,
Yeah.
and they came out better. Now they're making more money. Now they've got their own businesses.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like I was saying before, I will take scraping by. I'm still shitting in my pants at the idea of,
Right.
tax time, because this is my second year doing this, and I'm scared shitless.
Right.
I actually had, I think my mom was asking me, like, about how this was.
Yeah.
And I had told her, I'm like, this is more scary than having a kid.
Right.
But it's almost similar because when you have a kid, like you have an idea
Yeah.
of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's no book. There's no book written for what you're doing, how to do that.
Yeah.
And master it. There's nothing that can explain what to expect.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that with a business and with a kid, you have a lot of guidelines. You know what I'm saying? But you're not, you may be the parent that either puts your kid in timeout. You may be the parent that gives them a swat on the ass. You may be the parent that sits down and reads with them. You may be the parent that teaches them, musical skills, things that other parents wouldn't teach. And I think that, you know what I mean? Having a creative your kid has a mother and father that are fucking creative as all get out. You know what I mean? Alex is talented as fuck. You're talented as fuck. Reza's going to be he's going to be a really, really creative kid. You can already see it. You know what I mean? Watching you create with him in the background.
Sure.
And having him listen to the music stuff, or when you're creating music and he's there, he's fully on it. He's fully into that shit. He's picking it up. No, you know what I mean? Like, he may not be able to articulate it at the time.
No.
But you can see that he is like, just what.
But he's getting into it.
Yeah. And I've watched Alex's videos with her doing her makeup stuff with him there as well, and he's full on into that too. So he's aesthetically, the kid is going to have so much creativity and
without a doubt.
But again, like what I was trying to say is that there are guidelines for that for stuff, and granted, you're gonna deal with certain.
But I feel
things.
they're both the same.
Like
that's the closest
sure.
comparison.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Like with having a kid, you are always in dad mode. Even when I don't have my kid and he's with Alex, like, I'm still in fucking dad mode. I might get a call,
right?
That he fell down the stairs, whatever. Same thing with running a business by yourself. And I never thought it would be that scary. I thought, like, I'm going to make some art like a dumbass and sell my shit.
Right.
But it's like, you got to do PR. You got to constantly work. There is no time for breaks.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you can have breaks, then you're making more than enough money to have it substantial to your situation.
Yeah.
But, I'm not there yet. And it's scary because I don't know if, am I gonna make it or break it today? And I think the same thing with being a dad. Like, am I gonna make it or break it? And usually that fine line that keeps me on my mental stability is, grabbing a drink or a coffee and sitting down in the studio and just working on music and just taking a good hour or 2 hour break.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it happen often. I had a customer at one point complain, saying, like, well, I see your videos on Facebook, like, you must not be working. And it's like,
fuck off.
And it's like, you know what? I'm gonna shit in a box,
dude.
And I'm gonna mail it to you, and I'll give you a fucking spork, so you can decide whether you want to fucking pick it up or you want to fucking spoon feed yourself the shit you're spewing at me, because I am one man. I am running this all by myself. I am hand stitching, hand painting, hand molding, sculpting, all this shit from hand, and I'm doing it nonstop while raising a child.
Right. Also
working a music side business on the side.
Yep.
Doing bands, taking care of my dog. I have not done a great job taking care of my house, I'll tell you that much, and taking care of my house. And it's like, you don't realize as a person that all those things, what they encompass and what it requires you to do and to sacrifice, to give up. Yeah. And even Alex as an artist, she's sacrificed a lot to get where she's at.
Sure.
And she still does as a parent and as my friend. But it's different for everybody. And I think it's different for people that
I think people that don't have that creative drive,
they don't get it.
They don't get it because you can judge somebody that you see on a video, right, doing what they love to do, right, and creating something else other than making a mask. Yeah, you're not making their mask or their wallet or whatever on the video at that particular time. You're making music, you're taking time, but you're also allowing people to come inside of your creativity
to get a little,
too.
Get a little taste within the window, yeah.
Because and honestly, dude, I love it. Whenever I see you doing a video, I've seen you working on masks, multiple masks, and having them in a row, and Reza running around in the background, and music going, and you're not even looking at the camera. You're like focused on what you're doing.
It's working.
I love just watching that because you can.
Well,
I can pull the creativity out of that. You know what I mean? Like I feel inspired to go like, man, I got to go do a tie dye. I got to fucking work on playing bass. I got to do something. You know what I mean? Like it's important to me.
One thing I've been doing too. and you and I might have to do this at some point too. Not sure how, but we'll make it happen. I've been actually trying to pull in more collaborations with different artists.
Right.
So
Dutch Rudder.
I've got a Dutch oven. Knock on wood.
Amsterdam.
I got a friend out who was out in Portland, and she's a doll maker.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm like, I will send you the material. I'll send you a link to the materials that I use. Let's boost each other's businesses and let's make a product together. You do a doll, and I'll make it look like somebody fucked that shit 7 ways to hell.
Right.
And I've talked to other mask makers about doing like collaborations on, let's make a mask with both our styles together and then just promote it, and make it as a prize. Like do a contest, like, hey, you promote this post or whatever,
right?
And we draw a name out of a hat and you win this fucking thing,
right?
And I've noticed that a lot more people, the artist community, for the most part, people that I guess have been doing it longer, seem to be more inclined.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that there's also different aspects of the artistic community that are very much, fuck you, don't step in my bubble.
Right.
This is my work, don't taint it. And it's like, I don't want to say, fuck off, because like I'm kind of the same way sometimes.
Right.
But I'm totally down with like working with other people.
Right.
It's when people are like, will you teach me your ways?
Yeah.
For $500 a day, I will.
Right. Right.
And we actually almost hit that because we were kind of joking the idea, Jake and Alex and I, about how some of the mask makers at the Dead End were trying to replicate masks of my style, going off company funds to make masks. And it's like, so you're going to try to make masks cheaper. Like, I get it. Go ahead and do that.
Right.
But if these artists are going to try to learn something by basing it off my mask style that they may be looking right at in front of them, good luck with that, because I had the time and the money to do that for 6 to 8 months straight, where if I got failure within a week, that's fine. I got the money. I can pick it back up and do it again.
Right.
You work. You have a family. You have other jobs. Like, you don't have the time to learn the trial and error.
Right.
But I'll teach you a class if you want to throw me $500 a day.
Right. There you go. I actually watched another artist on Facebook have another artist go to their page and check out their stuff and then try to replicate it.
Oh, cool.
And then, well, not that cool, because she took a lot of the same designs and used a lot of the same color schemes.
Okay.
And she does a lot of art with skulls. So she'll take like bison skulls and like, big fucking skulls, and she'll do big floral headdresses on them and cool things like that.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Joelle or not. I don't.
Maybe.
She dates Jeff from Witchden.
I've probably
You've probably seen her work before.
Oh
but
my God, I have to pee so bad.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I have to pee.
Not a problem. Just you know where it's at. Remember?
Yes.
Straight out, and then take a
Just
left.
gotta pee down the hallway.
How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you again for joining us tonight. I hope that everybody's having a good Friday evening. It is 8:51 on Friday the 25th, I believe it is. This week here in the Twin Cities for me has been just hellacious. My wife and kid just got back from out of town, and I've just been working my ass off in this fucking weather. Minnesota is just the craziest fucking spot for weather right now. I mean, everywhere. Everything's like super hot or fucking wacky cold. Like, it was colder in Florida the week that my wife was down there compared to than the heat up here, which is ridiculous. Was like down to 60 something last night. Earlier this week, it was in the 50s. And then I don't think it got above 68 with no humidity. 2 days ago, then all of a sudden it like hit this ridiculous, it was like 86, but it felt like it was 98 or some shit, crazy shit. So yeah, it's been wacky here in the Twin Cities. So I wanted to kind of talk about last week's motorcycle run that we did. We're kind of putting this thing together for the last few months. It's like the 10th anniversary of this motorcycle run, a poker run that the Bailey family do every year. And last weekend was a fantastic turnout. It was about 200 bikes. Lots of people showed up. I think they made roughly around 14 grand for their stuff. So. St. Paul ain't got those. Mayflies. Yeah, fucking A. Those mayflies were insane on the other night. Yes, so thank you very much for everybody coming out to the poker run. That was a great time. Lots of beers and people having a good time, and there was no incidents. Nobody wiped out. Everybody made it from point A to point C, so it was good. Hey, you made it back.
I made it back.
You didn't shit yourself, right?
No, I peed my pants a little bit.
Okay,
we're good.
No big deal. You got to shake that a little bit better. You didn't have to rush back here for that.
That's something I learned in parenthood.
Yeah,
where we've been teaching our kids.
Shake it. Well,
so I'm just like I told him this morning. I'm like, all right, buddy. And when you're done, you got to jiggle. You got to jiggle it. So he just stands there and he's just doing this shit. I'm like, you know what? You do you.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna judge if that's how you want to do it.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I thought, you know what? I'm doing it wrong. I've been doing it wrong the last 30 years. I'm gonna start just dancing. When
do you know who Maddie Time is? Used to play in 13th Step, the band 13th Step.
I don't even know if I've heard that band.
Okay, Maddie Time's been around the music scene for a really long time. He's a good guitar player for 13th Step. I've partied with him a bunch of times, but he pees like a little kid. He'll pull his entire pants and underwear down
the ankle,
like to kneecaps, and he'll piss with his ass hanging out. So I was at the Fine Line one night, and Maddie's got this really distinctive hairdo. He's got like really tight braids on the top of his hair, and they're always really colorful. Okay. And he's had that same hairdo for fucking like ever. I was at the Fine Line. I can't remember. I think it was like, it might have been COC, but I think it was something else. I went to the Fine Line, and there was a guy. Now, Maddie Time used to wear jumpsuits all the time, like tracksuits and shit, right?
Okay.
So there's a dude with a white tracksuit on, and he comes in, and he's at the trough, dude, and he's got his fucking pants down, right? And he's just fucking pissing, and his ass is hanging out. And I walk in, and I think it's Maddie Time. So I walk up to the dude, and I smack this fucking rando dude on the fucking ass. Wham! I just let him have this fucking smack to the ass. And I go, put that little motherfucker away, right? This dude turns around. He's got the same kind of hairdo, little tight braids and shit. He turns around and he looks at me and he looks me up and down and he's like, what? And I go, holy fuck, you're not Maddie. And I just walk out of the bathroom. Fucking, so little kid piece, that's where that thought came from. Anyway.
That's a
good one. That's a good one.
That's a story.
Yeah, for sure. So musically, you're working on, you've got Promidal music ready to rip. You're just...
That's ready to go. Forge Master, we're at the point right now where it's just, we got to get the rest of the guitars and bass and then vocals done, and then we are looking to get it mixed and mastered, and we're good to go.
Nice.
Otherwise, I've been doing a lot of the synthwave. That stuff's been keeping me really busy because that's usually what more clients want.
No, dude, how did you get into that style? Was that something? I mean, you've kind of been doing your entire music thing forever, right? Yeah.
Since like the 80s pop music I've been into since I was a kid.
How did you get into that? I mean, like, was your mom listening to that type of shit?
My mom and my aunt, they were listening to George Michael and Wham.
Right.
There was a lot of God, who else was it? A lot of
Thomas Dolby,
Information Society.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the good early shit, and you get Tears for Fears, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
all the movies too, So growing up watching
Breakfast Club,
Short Circuit, Breakfast Club, pretty much any movie that Hughes touched.
Weird Science.
Weird Science was good. I actually, oddly enough, not long ago, I don't post this on my page very often, but aside from the mask work, I also do a lot of VHS work.
With shadow boxes,
With
too,
shadow
right?
boxes, yeah. And I actually did a really badass Weird Science one.
Did you have a Barbie in there?
No, I actually had a retro grid background.
Yeah.
With LED lights that would interchange.
Yeah.
And
Did
flicker.
you have a missile? So you should have did that. Now you should have fucking took a Barbie and like connected shit to her.
I mean, I could have shit on a frog, gave it eyeballs, and then just said it was, it's Bill.
Yeah, Bill Paxton.
It's Bill Paxton. Just throw that in a box.
Shit. Fucking. Fucking. That was great.
But yeah, no, the '80s stuff. I've always been into that, man. So my mom and my aunt, they grew up with everything in the '80s because that's where they they thrived.
Yeah.
I was born in '89, but as kids, my brother and I, we were raised on everything '80s. So like I grew up with fucking Jabberjaw, Sigmund and the fucking Sea Monsters, fucking Snorks.
Yeah.
So all the early shit I grew up with, all the cartoons,
Great
the
Space
toys.
Coaster shit.
We were playing like all the wizard games, like the little calculator with with the professor and all that shit. That's what we grew up with. So like when I get some people that are like, so what were the '90s like? Like, well, they were great, but I grew up on '80s shit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really hit the '90s stuff until like '97.
Because
like everything else was so good that I
Yeah.
grew up with. I was like, well, my mom grew up with this. This is what I got as a kid. And I loved the fucking music. The music was great.
Yeah.
And the movies were great. And I think the '80s actually had that. I think they had it right for film in the way that it reminded me a lot of like old black and white film, where if you watch like, I hate using Casablanca as a fucking reference, but
Twilight Zone.
a lot of that older style film,
Yeah.
they always focused more on facial expressions and the eyes.
Yeah.
Where I like that it's black and white because the fact that you lack that color tone, you're focusing solely on their expressions and how
Right.
they're acting.
Right.
And that has a lot of characteristics, and I think it gives momentum to the film and the storytelling.
Yeah.
In the '80s, as cheesy as it fucking was, it did the same thing. Like the movie Explorers,
Right.
fucking cheesy as
Yeah.
shit. But one of the best movies to grow up as a kid, I wanted to go and steal a fucking giant apple from the fucking fair and build a spaceship.
Right.
And I mentioned that to friends that are kind of my age that didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously you didn't know.
Yeah, you're not cool.
You're not fucking cool.
Even explaining it to them, though, too, they're kind of like completely lost in translation in that whole
But
thing,
that's one of the reasons, too, that like you, for example, like a lot of my friends are older than me.
Yeah.
I mean, like fucking Sean is
Yeah.
20 years older than me.
Yeah.
And most of my friends are in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
So it's like when I talk to people my age or
You're
younger.
an old soul, dude.
I talk to people that are my age or younger like they're fucking stupid. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
People will be like, God, you're such an asshole. I'm like, well, you're fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, you're from a generation. They're like, we're from the same generation. I'm like, but I mean.
Not really.
Not really, because you suck.
Yeah. Old soul, though, man. That's just how it is, A
little bit of Tom Waits and a lot of sandpaper and whiskey.
Yeah. You could keep the sandpaper and whiskey. I'm not a huge Tom Waits fan.
Oh, dude, Tom Waits all the way, man.
I have to. There's got to be some stuff that I haven't heard that's really fantastic, because I know a lot of people that are huge Tom Waits fans, and I just haven't. Something didn't click with me with that cat.
Something about his music, though. I've told people that are like, oh, so who's your favorite industrial musician? I'm like, I could tell you fucking,
Bile.
fucking, Ogre from fucking Skinny Puppy. I say Skinny Puppy. But realistically, I'd be like, fucking Tom Waits, dude. That guy's out in the fucking farm listening to the roosters and hitting whatever the fuck he finds with a goddamn stick.
Yeah.
And then playing his guitar or the piano.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's something about that organic sound that I just think it's like, that's true American folk.
Well, William Elliott Whitmore is like that for me.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know if you ever heard that before. But
I've heard Whitmore, but I don't know if
Well,
I've heard the name.
William Elliott Whitmore is very folky, kind of old school country.
Okay.
And his very a guitar player friend of mine told me that he does a lot of like chord progressions that are very kind of power chordy on banjo. You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
Like his style is different than a normal country player would be. So that's what I've heard several times.
Have you heard of Coulter Wall?
I have not.
This dude, I'm guessing he's got to be like 25 or 26 right
Sure.
now. But this guy's got, his voice almost makes it sound like Johnny Cash's voice.
Gotcha.
With Johnny Cash hitting puberty.
Right.
Like, or still, he's still adolescent. Like
Right.
this kid, he's got power to his voice. And the way
Coulter
Wall.
Okay.
And this, when people tell me they hate country, because I hate country music.
Yeah.
But when I think country music, when people are talking about it, in conversation, I'm picturing that what they're thinking country is that top 40 Garth Brooks bullshit.
Right.
Like when I think country, I'm thinking like
Garth Brooks is like that is like that cutoff for me though. Like I can handle some Garth Brooks, but beyond that point, the top country shit right
That's too
now,
much.
I can't handle it. Now
That's
old
that top
country,
40.
old country would be,
like Willie Nelson, Hank Williams,
Waylon Jennings, that type of
Waylon
shit.
Jennings. This guy Coulter Wall, he's still a kid, but he's fucking one of his biggest fans. You see some of his shows, which actually threw me off. Is God, what the fuck's his nuts? He played fucking Aquaman.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Nice.
Like they showed him at one of his shows, fucking fanboying, and I'm like, but there's some of these guys out there that are doing like legit country. Coulter Wall. Yeah, and some of his shit, he sounds almost like a deeper version of Willie Nelson. And I love that shit. That's fucking good.
I like old country. That's the only thing that I can really tolerate.
Because it's real American.
Yeah,
folk.
man.
It's good stuff.
All that shit. Conway Twitty, fucking.
But when people start singing about like, I was sad and I'm going to be singing about my tractor and the last girl I fucked when I was sitting here drinking PBR.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like sitting there with your fucking tight jeans and your shitty cowboy hat.
I hate the new hick hop type shit too.
Oh God, that's fucking horrible.
It's like.
Yeah, let's sit here and shit on modern music. I am down for this. Let me just crack the knuckles and get ready.
I mean, pop music in general. I mean, celestial radio in general is complete garbage. I mean, it's really gone completely off the track. You know what I mean? It's like the same chord progressions and everything.
Who's that one fucking? God, I fucking hate the dude. But it's he's that modern rapper. He's got the fucking tattoos on his face. He looks like he bathes in shit and fucking bug spray.
What?
He's that popular fucking rapper everybody fucking likes. I don't remember
fuck, I can't.
He's always got the braids and he's wearing the.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I can't remember.
It's fucking, what is his goddamn name? Lil something. Lil John. No, not Little John. That's what? Let me see here.
I can't remember his fucking name, but I've heard some of his. I
can't fucking think of his shit, dude. I can't.
Everybody
loves that dude. I can't stand that motherfucker.
Post Malone.
Oh, that dude's
Post
garbage.
Malone.
Yeah.
The dude fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But I've heard some of his songs.
Little douchebag. Yeah, pretty much.
I've heard some of his songs, and there was a guy on one of the synthwave groups who actually did 80s versions of his songs, like the same notation, everything.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've actually had heard of Post Malone.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I don't know who this guy is, but this shit's good.
Yeah.
And it's like Post Malone, and I'm like, oh, I know that name. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I actually like this guy's shit. But it came to me that this guy's actually got some okay like music writing, like the music itself, not the singing and all the bullshit, but the music. I'm like, this is catchy.
He made Ozzy famous.
Yeah, he did. He made Ozzy famous.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
You remember that Best Buy commercial when they first introduced Justin Bieber and fucking Ozzy's like, who the fuck is Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Like that's at what point? See, it's shit like that even though I'm younger, it makes me feel fucking old. Because at what point there's new words I hear fucking people say all the time, especially on this because I'm on VR, and that's my favorite is because I like,
bro. Everything's bro.
Everyone on there's like, yeah, what's up, bro?
Yeah, bro.
What's going on, bro?
You don't even know, bro. You don't even know.
We got this guy here trying to rep his clout. And I'm like, his clit? What? What the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, this guy's a boomer. And I'm like, Jesus, fucking.
Gen X, you fucking cunt.
I'm like, first off, mentally, I'm way the fuck beyond you guys and your parents. I'm probably old enough to be your fucking dad. So every time we go on fucking VR and Astro and I are playing, the first thing I say when we walk into a room
Astro, wait, hold on a second. Astro, are you fucking serious about that? Do you have proof of that? And if so, what deathcore guitarist are you talking about? Metalcore, not deathcore. Sorry, but his shit was really good for a bit. What are the name the band? Is there shit that I can actually go and pull up and listen to? Because I'd actually like to see that. No way, dude. Super talented dude. You know what? I'm not saying that he isn't a talented guy. I just don't. I don't care for the fucking the auto tune shit that he uses all the time.
The only person that pulled off auto tune, in my opinion, Daft Punk and Cher.
Yeah, I suppose. Ashley's Arrival. That's the name of it. Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now?
Ashley's Arrival. That sounds like a really bad strip club. Hey guys, Ashley's here.
And next to the stage, Ashley's arrival. Yeah. Here we go. Look at her spin around. Look at that fucking meat flap. All right. Arrival, huh? I'm going to have to fucking check that out. If you're serious. No, you think. Okay, so if I Google fucking Toast Malone, I'll be able to see some fucking
Toast alone.
Cinnamon toast alone, huh? It's just a live performance. I've only seen one video of Toast Malone playing guitar, and it was not good at all. Now, Jeff, I totally believe you on this shit. Toast Malone metalcore. Fucking
Oh God.
Fucking Post Malone did some metalcore shit, huh?
So I gotta ask you then too.
Yeah.
So like I've noticed locally, it seems like a lot of the bands are starting to get back out there again.
Yeah.
And I've like I said, I've been asked a few times. You know, we're still waiting a little bit to get the metal shit going.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I wouldn't play Minneapolis just because I feel like that's just with everything that's been going on out there. I don't know. I got this weird.
You mean
itch.
in Minneapolis in the clubs, like a club in
Yeah.
Minneapolis? Why is that? Because of all of the
Just everything that's been going on.
Why do you think they're going to start a riot because you got a titty plate on, or what? What do you mean? You're not kneeling on anybody's neck or anything, are you?
Well, the thing I've been worried about is
All
like
right, maybe that was too soon.
If I start pulling if I start pulling the shit that I've done over the years.
Like what?
Well, you know, we had an older show way back when, and we sort of got canceled out of what venue was this? Gosh, that shitty ass fucking goth club.
What, Ground Zero?
Ground Zero, yeah. I got banned from there for a while.
Why?
Well, because
Don't you fit in right into that whole thing? I mean,
oh God, I've never actually fit in there. It's just that I was really good at making music and apparently making them money, and they just didn't really like me. And
wow, yeah.
had a few people within the group that decided to sort of blacklist my name.
Tracy's about to pull steel wool.
You're damn right, right from my cheeks.
Yeah.
I got steel wool. No, it is because we used to actually have plants at our shows.
Yeah.
Not fucking carnations and shit.
Not ferns.
No.
Fuck club politics.
Palm Sunday is not. That's not my show. My kind of shtick. But we would have people like set up out in the audience, and I would have like a strap on with a hose and a tank full of blood. So like I'd sit there and I'd face fuck someone with porn playing in the background on the stage.
Yeah.
And squirting blood on people and shit. And we'd gut them and handcuff them. And it was always a chick at the show. And it was always someone who was like, I'm into masochism and BDSM and all this shit. Just fucking put me on stage and be brutal. And I'm like, all right. But there was always a few select people that really wanted to fucking ride us. And you know what our original sigil looked like.
Yeah.
You know, we had the fucking red banners and everything.
Yeah.
And at that time, the whole point of doing that was just, I loved getting a rise out of people.
Sure.
And then once I started thinking about things more logistically and, you know, business appropriate, I'm like, okay, well, obviously we got to retire this and change things up because there's things in the midst of politics.
At that particular time, too.
Well, and that was right kind of at the cusp when things worldwide were starting to pick up. And I'm like, we need to pull back.
Yeah.
We had a friend in Germany who was like, we'd love to have you out here, but you need to change this shit because if you come out here, they
shut you down.
You're gonna get shut down and banned from the country.
Yeah.
So we fixed it, and we fixed everything up, and
that's just smart business.
And that was the thing. It was a business decision. It's like, did I agree with it? Well, no, but at the same time, I understood it.
Artistically, probably not, but.
And that's the thing. It's like you got to take those cuts, and God, I can stop fucking burping. Mango-y. But
harder mango.
Hard mango. No, they had banned me. We had got banned from Saloon for a while. Big V has banned us, but I was totally cool with that. They banned us because the owner, I think it was the owner's wife or whoever it was, came out and said, because they have you sign a waiver when you get in there, like no covers and this, and this, and I'm just like, I'm gonna sign it, but I'm gonna break every fucking rule on this thing.
Yeah.
And we got up there, and our 45-minute set quickly became a 30-minute set, and I had a pig heart.
Yeah.
And she came out, and while we're playing a song, I'm trying to think what song it was. It was called Make Way for the Devil.
Yeah.
And she comes out and she's like, "You guys better pick this shit up." And I'm like, "Fuck you." And I threw the fucking heart, nailed her right in the face.
Ooh.
Blood everywhere. And I looked up at the sound guy and he was like, "Yes." And I'm like, someone doesn't like his boss.
That's hilarious.
He was like, "Dude, that was awesome. Thank you."
So when you decide to get the music back, you're nervous about playing Minneapolis.
I'm nervous because at a time when I was pulling shit like that,
Yeah.
there was nothing really to worry about.
Yeah.
And even in 2019 to early 2020, when we were still doing shows, there was still a lot of shit we were doing that I feel that some venues were a little hesitant about, even the tit suit.
Yeah.
And I feel like with all the cancel culture bullshit and people being entitled to having an opinion on every fucking fart, whisper, and burp in every angle, that if I came out wearing some of that shit, pulling some of the stuff we're doing, I feel that somebody would just start some bullshit about it. And with having, I literally lack social skill at this point. I've lived at home for a year and a half.
Right.
And as I was coming here, I went to go and buy my wonderful Mike's Harder Lemonade at the liquor store right over by Old Pooper Inn.
Yeah.
And this lady gets out of a car and she's like, "Oh, hey, you look really cool. Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "I don't mean to be weird. I'm married." And I'm like, "Oh, God, this is already weird. Bye."
Yeah.
And I thought as I'm walking in my car, I'm talking out loud to myself like, I can't socialize for shit.
Yeah.
That was weird, but I can't socialize. So, like, if I were to go and do a show now and do the same stuff that we were doing before, I feel like I would handle it a little differently.
Worse?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, Jeff's got a point here. He's like, I hope that you're wrong about, but I have a feeling that people cling way too closely to their politics, and all they talk about is coming together, and it's just that talk.
That's the thing. It's just talk.
But here's the thing, though. You know, like with creative integrity, and I think that a lot of people want to get themselves fucked up with this whole political view shit.
People want a fucking voice.
They do, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But you can't cancel someone else's voice in effect of trying to get.
I mean,
get
that's
yours
like if you
more
were
heard,
like,
you know
"Hey,
what I mean?
I like the color purple."
Right.
Good for you.
It's a great movie.
But then if I decide to sit there and ride your ass about it, be like, "No, you're fucking wrong, and everything you think about this is fucking wrong," there's no reason for me to stand up and try to berate you and bring you down on something like that because I feel entitled that my opinion on it is stronger than your love for it.
Yeah, and I think that people need to hear that the fact that your opinion is valid, like what you're saying is valid, like you give them that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your opinion's valid, but your opinion doesn't make mine void. You know what I mean?
Exactly, it doesn't devoid your shit.
So when it comes to things like that, like creative integrity, you know what I mean? Like yeah, you want to make business decisions and not make a ruffle feathers. I mean, you do, but you don't, right?
You
know what I mean?
careful.
You want to be careful, but at the same time, when is it enough to just say, "Listen, man, I'm going to do me," and if you don't like it, there's the fucking door.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And that was the biggest problem that we had is that, and Nathaniel had actually explained it, which is again Promidad,
right?
But he had brought it up to me a few times as to, and that's why I covered up I had the sigil tattooed on my arm and I covered that shit up.
Yeah.
Because after a while, he was like, "How many times?" He's like, "We know, we've studied history. We've studied, all the wars and all that shit. We know the symbols. We understand it. But to the ignorant, naive individual who sees it, do you want to have to explain that every single time someone who doesn't get it that attacks you about it?"
They're not going to listen any time. Most of the time,
and they're not going to care.
They're going to make their judgments right away, and they're
going to stick with it.
Why should you have to? This is what I don't understand with people in general. Why the fuck do I need to explain myself to you anyway?
Exactly.
First of all, I don't fucking know you. I don't give a fuck about what you think about me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, exactly, dude. Why did you get tattooed? Because I like artwork. Well, what does your mom say about it? I bet your parents are proud. You know what? Fuck off. You know what I mean? Like my expression has nothing to do with you, nor does it affect your everyday life. Go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like an expression of art.
But because you express that inner opinion, now you are an asshole.
And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, honestly, that's fine. I have to be an asshole. You can't be now. This is where it gets really frustrating for me because, you know, you put so much. It's like looking at your masks and stuff. Okay, now, why do you put that on video? Why do you put that on Facebook? Why do you think that that's that it's okay? What if my kids saw that stuff and was really scared about the shit that you do? You know what I mean? Why the fuck are you letting your kid look at my shit on Facebook?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You say, oh, look at this scary thing. You're subjecting your kid to that fucking shit.
You are the bad parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll on by,
It's the whole deal with
motherfucker. Scroll on by.
It's the whole shit with like fucking with the film industry and people saying, well, we should change the rating on this because kids might see it. Don't let your fucking kid watch it then.
Right.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds did it best by promoting to release a fucking PG-13 version of fucking Deadpool.
Right.
Almost as a fucking fuck you.
Yeah.
Because it's an adult film. It's supposed to be for adults.
Right.
You know, like there's actually art groups that specifically I'm part of that are for gore art.
Right.
And I've posted my stuff on there, never having problems. And out of the blue, I think they had gotten like a new administrator on one of the groups. And they were like, well, you need to put trigger warning and you need to have these photos blurred if you're going to post them. And I'm like, this is a gore art. Why would I do that? I've never had the issue. And I even asked questions like, so how do you want me to go about doing this? Because I've never had to do this. And they decided to ban me from the group and block all my posts. And I'm thinking, without even answering my question. Right. And I'm thinking, well, if you're so fucking quick on the trigger, they're like, well, somebody could be offended or triggered by the gore that you're showing. Then they shouldn't be in the fucking group.
Wait a second. Gore is gore. You know what I mean? Whether it was a mangled vagina wallet, you know what I'm saying, or a fucking
But that's like someone who's against fishing being like, well, I'm going to go fishing, but I'm going to complain about it the whole fucking time. Then go the fuck home.
Right.
Like, I don't like fishing. I am against it.
Right. Well, I don't set my hooks like this. I just give a gentle
I give it a gentle hook so I don't hurt the
tongue.
Fish. Yeah, wow. As you're reeling in the fucking jaw and the body's gone. Fuck off.
They just canceled the term trigger warning. Why? Because it promotes gun violence or what? That's the point of it. Yeah, dude.
You remember that fucking kid that chewed out the fucking shape of a gun in a Pop-Tart? Kid was in fucking preschool and they fucking kicked him out. They put handcuffs on him.
Oh man.
This is why Alex is like, you're not allowed the parent-teacher conference night because you would probably kill a teacher. I'm like, I would not do that.
Are you serious, Jeff?
As I'm grabbing my fucking recurve bow.
Yeah.
Who's your teacher? What'd she say?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing for me, and this kind of goes into the politics thing, the Black Lives Matter stuff. There was in my high school in White Bear Lake, there was fabricated threats made to African American kids by an African American kid, sending them to other African American kids, pretending to be from a hate group, saying N-words to these other kids.
Really?
And it came out in the news just a couple months ago, last month or the month before, of this being fabricated. And the Black Lives Matter had a walkout in the school, right? My daughter was back in school, going to school a couple times a week, had a walkout at their school and had Black Lives Matter there. Now, I have absolutely nothing to complain about the Black Lives Matter because Black Lives do matter. And I'm not saying anything about that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that my daughter was screaming at the top of her lungs, fuck all police are bad, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, the school is going to allow a group to come in and allow children, okay? Now, you can't, as a teacher, promote your political views in school, right? Mm-hmm. You can't do that. You're not supposed to be able to do that. You're not supposed to force somebody down. Now, say my daughter's teacher was a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. I would not be comfortable with them, pushing them in that direction.
Yeah.
You have to let them make their own decision. Now, why would my kid walk out of school with all these other kids and then be taught by a support group, right? Black Lives Matter group that is going to teach them to be anti-police, for children to be anti-police. Now I've been beat up by 8 cops in my fucking front yard. So I'm going to tell anybody who's watching this and wants to judge me for me saying this to go fuck themselves, because I have had my ass kicked by 8 cops. Did I deserve it? No, I didn't. I ran my mouth. Yes. Did I deserve to get roughed up a little bit? Yeah, sure. Why not? I ran my fucking mouth. I should be following authority. That's the one thing.
Accountability.
All right, accountability. But to teach children, 14, 15 years old, to say fuck the police and all the shit, and allow them to leave school to do this. Okay, I support your group. Okay, I do, but I don't want my daughter to think fuck the police. It would be like a white supremacist group coming in and saying they're anti-black people. Like,
exactly.
Why the fuck would I want my kid to learn that nonsense? She's not learning it from me, so why the fuck am I going to allow somebody else to teach?
Because regardless of what horrible shit your kid's going to learn, and if your kid's going to turn out to be a fucking piece of shit, let them make that decision.
Right.
To be a piece of shit.
But I should be able to make that decision because my kid, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not some other fucking teacher or some other group that wants to take my kid out of school. And my kid's a straight A student. Has been this entire year, all last year, all the year before that. Straight A kid, all the way fucking through, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I don't want a group to come into my fucking kid's school, pull her out of school because it's the thing to do, right? You know what I mean? Like, we want to support this, and I understand that, but it was all based on these kids in White Bear Lake that were fabricating this shit. But there wasn't press in this whole thing. It was a small excerpt in the paper. It was a small excerpt here. It was like a little hidden thing that a young African-American girl made a fake account, went around and threatened the other African-American kids in her school. They made a big to-do about it, and they had the Black Lives Matter people come, and there were multiple schools in Minnesota that walked out on one day. Okay, now that's... Again,
see, but that's one of those things too that I keep seeing and reading about, where it's like, when these things happen, and then people get upset when there's repercussions on a situation. When you have people representing whatever group you support,
sure,
burning down the group you're part of and you support,
right?
You almost can't be mad when something bad happens out of that and repercussion, because it's going to happen naturally anyways,
right?
Because people are shit.
Now, what do you think would happen if I was to call the school that day when I found my daughter came in and she was like, "Yeah, Dad, we were screaming, fuck the police." And I looked at her and I thought to myself, that's really fucked up. I should call the school and fucking throw a fit. But at the same time, what would happen if a giant fucking, I appear to be an Anglo-Saxon man, a fucking European guy, right?
Yep.
I'm fucking Native American, German, and Hispanic, okay? So if I go in there fully covered in tattoos and walk in there and throw a fucking complete fit to maybe an African-American person that's at the thing, I would instantly be targeted as a racist.
Yep.
Because I was pissed because the Black Lives Matter people were teaching her to say fuck the police. And that wouldn't be why I would be mad. It would be the fact that you took my kid out of school. You allowed them to get out of school to teach them something that I don't believe in. I don't believe in fuck the police. I have family that are fucking police officers.
You're there and you're paying for your money is going into your kid to learn and get an education.
Yeah.
And if the ass end of that is teaching your kid something of, a little bit more of a rebellious state, not to say that it's bad,
no,
but let them figure that out for themselves.
My daughter,
let them pick up a book and
my daughter
have an opinion.
Was deathly afraid of police officers when she was Rez's size.
Really?
Deathly afraid, dude. Like, she would not talk to them, wouldn't say anything to them. And she got it all from me. She got it from the vibe that she got from me because I got beat up by 8 cops in my front yard. I fucking hate cops. I fucking hate them, dude. But I still abide by the law. I still treat people with respect. I get pulled over. What the fuck are you pulling me over for, you fucking pig? I wouldn't say that.
No.
What can I help you with? What do you need? Okay, well, why are you pulling me over? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got pulled over down the street from my old shop, leaving to go see American Head Charge. I had one drink. I took a drink. I fucking finished my drink. I jumped in my car. I almost missed the light. I didn't stop at the light. I just turned and kept going. They pulled me over. I had my NYDM vest on. The first thing the cop said is he noticed the vest. He wanted to know, what club I rode with. I said, that has nothing to do with why'd you pull me over? Because you didn't stop at the stoplight. Okay, cool. I smell alcohol in your breath. I said, yeah, I had one drink. Well, you need to get out of the car. I said, for what? And he's like, and like paraded me out on the highway on 65. And I'm just kind of like, let me throw my vest back in the car because this has nothing to do with, well, who do you ride with? Where's your motorcycle? I'm like, this has nothing to do with why you pulled me over. You know what I mean? This guy's fucking, then he's doing the fucking pen trick, and he's getting to the corner of my eye and going like this to get me to turn my head. You know what I mean? To make it. And I just looked at him and I go, are you fucking serious right now? I'm like, what do you need from me? Like, I will pass every sobriety test that you're throwing at me right now. They give me the breathalyzer. I had one fucking drink, blah, 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 blah. And, you know what I mean? That it hurt that motherfucker that he had to let me go. I went to the bar and I got shit hammered, dude. I mean, shit hammered. I went to the fucking bar and got shit housed, and I drove my ass home. And I admit that I fucking broke the goddamn law, but dude, there's some shady motherfuckers out there. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, this whole thing goes back to that,
And I think I told you too. I think on the last time we chatted, when I was actually living in Mounds View the first time, I didn't know the area.
Yeah.
And I was driving back to Rochester to see family.
Yeah.
And they had a sign up for detour, but the sign was pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Because they were doing construction. So they never pulled the sign out because there was 5 other cars that got stuck in the same ditch.
Oh shit.
So this cop comes out, state sheriff, pulls a gun on me, and basically he got to the point where he was almost threatening to shoot me because he was saying that I was there to steal copper.
Oh, they thought you were a fucking meth head.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know where the fuck I am. I'm like, you want to check my GPS that I just figured out how to work?
Yeah.
I'm new here. So I called my roommate at the time who was in law.
Yeah.
Shows up without his driver's license.
Yeah.
Was drunk in his pajamas and pulls up in this fucking shitty ass Cadillac. And I'm like, God, he's going to get me arrested.
Yeah.
And I'm not even drunk. And he gets out and he's like, you do realize that he has up to 24 to 48 hours to have his car removed from the area before you can even press anything against him. And he's like, well, we've had reports of copper being stolen. His car just got stuck. Does he look like he's going to get away with any copper anyways?
Yeah.
And the cop's like, well, I'll give you 24 hours if you can get the car moved. So my buddy just called his other roommate, who was ran a tow service.
Yeah.
They came grab my car.
You out? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, and I almost got fucking shot because this cop was trigger happy.
Yeah.
And I've had the same thing. There are a handful out there that just want to fucking get that recognition.
Dude, I've told people this a million times, man. After that whole incident with getting beat up by the cops, it took me 2 years to not be visibly shaken. Like seeing them and starting to shake and that really anxious, like you're up to some shit, but you're just like, it's shell shock. You know what I mean?
And if you even live in an area that's like remotely known for criminal activity, because I used to live in Crystal.
Yeah.
But I had the shop at the Walmart that was in Brooklyn Center.
Right.
So I'd go there and I'd leave. And I remember at the time I had just picked up my girlfriend at the time from the airport, and we went to go get some groceries and head back to my place.
Yeah. What are you doing here?
As we get out of the as we actually get out, they turn their lights on, pull me over. They didn't say shit. They actually came and yanked me out of the car, threw cuffs on me, and threw me in the back of their car, pulled her off to the side, and they started rummaging through the back through all my groceries. I had fucking food broken.
Right. And
I was like, dude, I'm about to press fucking charges on your ass. But part of me thought, they probably pulled my plate number and saw a year prior I had a fucking DUI.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they pulled me over.
Sure.
They wouldn't answer shit, and eventually they told me. They said, "Well, we had a report of a white male in a vehicle similar to yours that was trafficking weapons." And I'm like, "I got groceries. I'm wearing a fucking Christmas sweater.
Yeah.
Do I look like I'm trafficking goddamn guns?"
Right.
I mean, except for these babies. Like, I ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Like, really. And from that day forth, I was so fucking scared.
I've been pulled over on bad pretenses so many times, dude. I lived in Oakdale, and I had the same shit happen to me, being tattooed, having my arm hanging out the window.
Sure.
Cop pulls me over and asks me what club I ride with, and that the apartment building that I live in has a meth thing dealers in there. Who do I know there? This, that, and the other fucking thing. Called me somebody else's name. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not who you think I am. Can I see some ID? Yeah, here you go. Oh, my bad. And then start still. What club do you ride with? What gang are you in? What are you doing in that? I'm like, I fucking lived in the apartment building. What do you mean? Well, there's drugs being run out of there all the time. We bust people in there all the time.
Dude.
I'm like, I do see you guys there, but that has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll get away with everything. They'll try to get away with everything. You see it all the time. It's like, because you're conditioned to answer those questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me see your ID. Well, why do you need my ID? Am I being pulled over? Well, I mean, am I being detained? You know what I mean? What is it exactly?
You mentioned the vest thing, and there was even a time where I actually stopped. I mean, I don't have an NYDM vest, but I have a vest that has lots of runes on it.
Yeah. Yep.
And I had to stop wearing it because I had one of my patches had a sun wheel. It was not the 12.
Yeah.
It was not the fucking black sun wheel.
Black sun wheel, yeah.
But I had a sun wheel patch, and I had an iron cross patch, and you put that and runes together, and a cop sees that. Like anytime I was driving or I was out, if I was walking around the bar area with friends, I just didn't wear it. Like I'd take it off.
Have you ever seen the down shirt that says the Brotherhood of Eternal Sleep? You ever see that? And it's got like a hangman's noose and shit there. I almost had a friend get jumped by a bunch of black dudes because it had a fucking gallows, a hangman's fucking noose hanging on it.
I know what you're talking about.
And they were just, and I'm like, dude, it's a fucking band. You know what I mean? This guy's not a fucking racist. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's weird how people take
it's scary.
The Nordic ruins and things like that. I mean, a lot of that shit has been so bastardized by nationalist groups and racist groups and shit. And
a lot of the people that are part of that are actually part of the Odinism circle and Asatru.
Yeah.
They don't support that at all, and they're vocally open about this is not us. This is not our representation.
Right.
I'm partially within the circle.
It's easy to get lumped in
Odinism, and I don't stand by that. So
Yeah.
I'll have people ask, like, well, what do your runes stand for? Well, if you read closely enough, I'll punch you in the fucking throat and you'll find out.
Right.
But it's like it's the same thing of if you've got the knowledge on it, or you're just fucking ignorant and stupid.
Yeah.
Mind your business, don't fucking ask.
Yeah.
Because like when it comes to like cops,
is it going to change your life? That's what I mean. Is it going to change your life? My expression. You know what I mean?
You getting offended, and you being a dick about something you don't understand. Is it really going to change how you feel?
Yeah.
No, because you're still going to be a dick.
Well, I mean, even if you answered them in the most proper way, like, okay, well, this is what this stands for. Do you know that? Well, yeah, that's what I've heard. And then they feed you their shit that they have put together from whatever fucking TV show that they've watched, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I watched this show.
Yeah, and I watched this Nazi thing, and they had something that, you know what I mean? That type of shit where they already draw the conclusion to what you're saying, but they want to ask you the question to get some sort of answer out of you, but they're already going to attack you because they've already judged you before you open your fucking mouth. It's just ridiculous.
The best thing I've learned with that, though, is because when I was in middle school and high school, we had a course on World War II and Nuremberg and all that shit.
Yeah.
And I aced all that shit. I read all the books because I thought I was so interested in it. I just like mainly the occult side of it. I'm like, dude, what was he looking for?
Yeah.
Was he about to like raise some fucking crazy shit? I want to know.
Right.
Of course, there wasn't any of that shit, but it was always interesting to read, and it was intriguing, and it piqued my interest. And the more I read about it, the more I learned, and the more I kind of had in the back burner. So it was always kind of nice because then if somebody decided to accuse me of something, it's like,
do you know what you're talking about?
So you watch this thing about Nazis.
Yeah.
Let me just grab my briefcase of bullshit and let me just fucking put you through a course of shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let me bamboozle you real quick.
Because even in Cambridge, I've learned, God, I love the police out there. They're so fucking great.
Yeah.
Out in Nicene County.
Yeah.
When I went to get the license for my dog, we went in there. I was supposed to be there for 10 minutes. I had about a 45-minute conversation with the gal behind the fucking front desk, and we were talking about fishing for fucking almost half an hour. And she was like, "Oh, you got the most beautiful dog, and this is where my husband and my boys and I go to fish." And I'm thinking, you got all these people pissed about, police. And it's like, and I get it. I really do. Because
Yeah.
I've been in a position where I've been accused and I've been thrown to the back and handcuffed and fucking arrested.
Yep.
And you're going to have a handful of fucking bad cops. It happens.
Yeah.
But if you get rid of all those police,
Yeah.
what's going to happen when you got somebody holding gunpoint to you? Well, I better call you. I like the idea of people saying, but everyone's going to have a gun and someone will be there. No, they won't.
Yeah.
Everyone will have a gun to protect themselves when need be, but ain't no one going to be there for you when you got a gun at your head.
Right.
And if you decide to call that number,
Well, see, they've got
a
a no gun sign on their house that says no guns allowed here, so that's going to protect them.
yep, it's going to protect them.
Yeah.
Just, but my boy, he every time we go for a walk and a police car drives by, they'll slow down and they'll wave at him. And my kid he fucking loves it. He eats that shit up. And it's like, if he wants an opinion, get an opinion. I agree with everybody on their experiences with the police.
Yeah.
And all this political shit that's happened. But I strongly feel, though, that if you have personal experience or you have friends that have gone through it and you've seen, their little experiences with it and how it's affected them, you've got a strong opinion on it, and rightfully so. But if you're just pulling it out of the woodwork to be like, I feel like it's become
part of it.
like a trend.
Cool. Yeah.
It's become a trend
Cool
where
to
it's like,
be part of it.
fuck the police. It's like, you know what? I was all about that shit when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Listening to thrash metal and fucking Empty Tankard from the fucking band Tankard.
Yep.
Getting drunk as
They were
shit at
killer,
fucking
dude. I love that
14.
band, yeah.
Drinking a bunch of Boddington's Pub Ale and a fucking 64 crate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were doing that shit, and, it was all like, yeah, fuck the fucking cops. We're going to do this shit, and we're going to drink and party. And I look
Be
back.
rebellious, dude.
I look at that shit now, and it's like, dude, I don't think that way at all. Somebody broke. We had people try to. We thought they were about to break into our neighborhood because we had a gray van that had been circling our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we got real tight ass fucking neighbors.
Right.
And the area I live in, everyone out there is fucking gun crazy. I don't own a gun because if I had one and I had a bad day, I'd probably fucking kill myself.
Right.
So I have a bunch of. I own a lot of bows.
Yeah.
And my neighbor had even given me he got me a nice recurve bow. And we were talking about it when we saw this van going around. I got the number and everything. And I remember posting about it, and somebody had said, oh, well, why are they black? And I said, there was a black male, a black female in the front of this van.
Yeah.
They were clearly smoking weed in front of my house. And there was a white male in the back seat.
Right.
And we had neighbors, and we had the Neighborhood Watch of Cambridge posting pictures that this van was circulating and there was thefts happening. There was break-ins.
Right.
That post that I made about these three people was a public thing in the county that people were talking about. It wasn't me, pushing somebody out there saying, oh, well, they were thieves because they were black.
Right.
No, they were stealing people's shit.
Yeah.
And I physically saw with my eyeballs as I walked outside to pretend to put the garbage out there and snap a picture of their license plate,
Right.
that there was two black male and a black female in the front and a white male in the passenger seat.
Right.
And they were smoking weed, and they were eyeballing the neighborhood and circling around.
Right.
All the neighbors had gotten
Telltale
together,
signs of shit like
and
that.
we were all talking, and I had called the state sheriff, and they sent somebody out, and they said, hey, normally when people do this in some of the neighborhoods, they're usually looking to steal internet if it's during the day,
Right.
which makes sense,
Right.
But when we had told them, and our neighbors had reported it, like, we're getting this same van at 4 in the afternoon, 11 p.m. at night, 3 in the morning, 9 a.m. Why are they coming back? You don't need internet that bad. Like,
Right.
why are you doing this?
Right.
Why are you eyeballing?
Facebook is addicting. I'll tell you that.
You're eyeballing certain things.
Ritual Man, his podcast is addicting, so they need to be on YouTube. They're probably out in front of your house right now.
They are. They're like, oh, God, he's not home.
He's not home. He's on this shit
And-
right now.
And I think that was one of the nice things about getting my dog, because I wanted a dog that had bark.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's a big girl.
Yeah.
And she is fucking protective. She'll take, if Astro's still on there, she'll take his ass down if he picks up a fucking broom.
Right.
And I think hearing the big dog barks of all the neighbors,
Well,
they were
someone,
like,
yeah.
we ain't fucking with that dog. And it's like, well, good.
Yeah.
And for that whole, 3-4 days we had this happen, I communicated with the neighbors and said, hey, if you guys see this is the officer number I called.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, good, we're all in a fucking community loop. And my neighbor was like, hey, I got a turret and all this shit set up. If anyone tries to rob you, I got you.
Just duck.
And I'm sitting there loading bolts into my crossbow, and I got my my compound bow
Yeah.
on the kitchen table, and Alex is like, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm fucking serious. Try to break in here. Your gun may stop me, but if this arrow goes through your kneecap,
Oh yeah.
that's
That
gonna
would
suck to
fucking
get
suck.
out.
Yeah, that would suck.
I'd rather take a bullet to the knee than an arrow. Just saying.
Yeah, tear hole either one of them, man. Fuck, I wouldn't want either one of them. Fuck that shit.
Or in Sean's words, you know, you got all these people that are like going gun crazy. He's like, you get a 22, you don't need it to kill somebody. You shoot somebody in the kneecap with a 22, they'll go fucking running for the hills.
Yeah, but it'll bounce around real good too and tear everything up as it's doing it too. You know what I mean? That's what 22s. You know, they're manageable. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of recoil in that whole thing either. You know what I mean? That type of shit.
I don't know, man. This whole last year and a half has just been wild. Like, I just feel like everybody has been on attack mode with they're looking for a reason to argue and fight, and it's like, man, I have lost my ability to socialize. All I want to do is fucking hang with my kid, hang with the friends I've got, and just enjoy life and make art for people.
Our podcast, our original podcast, you know, the one we did before this one,
we had a big political rant.
That was a reason why I stopped podcasting for a while, was because of politics and because I just felt like I was toxic. You know what I mean? I was so down because of losing Lee's, you know, which somebody sends me a thing today that they're renting Lee's out for 5 hours for like $1,300 or whatever. Alex Gorgo sent me a thing, and
so it's still up.
It's still there. It's still up. Somebody bought it, and they're renting. The post was, why rent a party bus when you can rent a whole bar? So they were like, they're renting the place out. I don't know how the parking is over there. If they still have the ground all tore up. Yes, Lee's is in fact still there, and you can rent it.
1,300 seems a little pricey.
1,500, 13 or 15, and I think it's like 5 hours you get.
I guess it's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not that bad if you get the right bands in there. You can easily make the money back and cover the nut, and you know, maybe even make money off of it. But you're paying, you know, you got to pay the sound guy, the light guy, you got to pay all of that. Plus, you probably got to kick in. I don't know exactly how it is. I would
assume bartenders probably take a cut.
But the whole thing is that I stopped podcasting because of the environment that we were in, and then you get COVID involved, and you know, dude, you get pent up in his creativity, dude, was out the fucking door for me, dude. I didn't do any photography. Midway through COVID, I started doing tie-dye stuff, and the tie-dye stuff really brought me back in the creative fold, really. And then Jared Singer brought me on his podcast to do a podcast, and you know, kind of, you know, pumped my ego a little bit, you know, like Nike Air pumped my ego a little bit, and I was collecting, you know, new gear.
Yeah. Because
I was planning on coming back to do more podcasts. You know, I bought another board. I bought this board. I different microphones, and I had other cameras. I bought a different computer to be able to do this live shit. But dude, I was just in a funk. I just couldn't get it out. And you know, after things started to you know, dissipate a little bit, I felt it lift off of me. You know what I mean?
Well, you and I think for a while we still need the kayak, my dude. But
yeah.
I think we were in the same boat where, for almost like 2-3 months, I think you and I were just out kayaking almost every day. Where it was like the artistic aspect of everything, it just felt so empty and dry.
Yeah.
And even when like the guys and I would have, you know, our little Promidal meetings where we would just sit there and we'd chat and whatnot at the beginning, because everything was so fucking scary.
Yeah.
Where I went on a fucking bender for just, I want to say almost like 3 months. It was just, I didn't know what to do. I don't think anybody did.
Yeah.
So if you're in the alcohol business, you probably made a shit ton of fucking money those first 3 months.
Yeah.
And I remember like the guys were even telling me like, dude, don't worry about the music thing. And it's like, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, is music going to be a thing? Are we going to even be a band? You know, we still didn't want to die out, and we knew a lot of friends that were still into it. But at the same time, it's like I kept looking at everything like, now is not the time to focus on music. Now is the time to focus on something else. I don't know what that is, but it's something else.
And I think that it went one way or the other. I think that either you just lost that creative juice, like it just dissipated, and you were so fucking worried about what was going on. I mean, you got to worry about your kid. You got to worry about your kid's mom. Your own health. I mean, you're having health issues as well. Like, I mean,
dude, I was getting shit from everybody because the first business I tried doing is I had a business partner, and he moved out of the country, and actually kind of fucked me on all this, but we started putting money in together, and I was doing bug out bags.
Right.
And I think you remember that.
Yep, I remember that.
We were doing bug out bags, and those were actually turning out great. And I had friends going like, dude, so, how are you handling this whole situation? I'm like, I got 6 bug out bags in my house, so
Right.
if I got to hightail it, we're good.
Yeah.
We got one in each car, each room, and that was it. And that was kind of the focus, is because it was like nobody knew what was going on in the world, and I thought, if I could do some bug out bags, maybe that can give other friends or people a little peace of mind, because not everybody knows how to prep those things.
Yeah, I was totally down to get one. I remember hitting you up about that because I thought it was really cool because those backpacks were fucking dope.
And the backpacks were fucking sweet and everything, and that just sort of, and actually the only reason I ended up doing the mask work is because I was waiting on my partner to figure out some of the logistics we wanted to do on different distributors, because we were doing some third party resources.
Right.
And while I was waiting, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna make masks.
Right.
Make a little extra money.
Yeah,
and then
keep yourself going.
that took off.
Yeah.
And then we just dropped the business, and I'm like, well, I mean, now I'm too fucking busy to make a bug out bag. But
Right.
they're pretty. I mean, they're easy to make. You just need the simple survival shit that you're gonna need.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Well, I mean, like I said, man, I think that it went one way or the other with people. Either they focused in on music, which a lot of people, I mean, you see some of the bands pumping stuff out. They
got
the
3
Beast Face
fucking-
guys, the Cymothwa guys. I mean,
What, fucking Nick and the Cardigem.
Yep.
They got.
Yep.
Well, when that started, I did all the key arrangements on the first release,
Right.
and right when they were starting, that was probably around March, June, whatever.
Right. Of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right from there on, like, those guys took off.
Right.
They did, and they're still doing good. And it's like nonstop material. And I was seeing people like Nick just dishing shit out left and right.
Right.
And then, of course, Jeff and who was he working with? Solomon Echoes, whatever, or whoever it was. Yep. And they were whipping that shit out, and it's like everybody was whipping something out. They were getting something good.
Yeah.
That brings me back to the point of thinking that I think for that creative sort of recharge, the whole COVID thing gave everybody kind of that positive over negative.
Right. Right.
We all lost the social experience. We lost bars and all that.
But I think that, what I mean, like with dropping one business and picking up another creative outlet with the masks and the wallets and everything like that, much like the tie-dye stuff for me, like I never thought about ever tie-dyeing. Like I wanted to do it because my daughter had done it with her grandma like a few weeks before, like a month before or something. And then all of a sudden I made a business out of it, and I had extra thousands of dollars in my pocket. It was like, it helped because we, like you said, with the money that the government gave us, it was like either you're going to spend it, and which I did right away. I bought a kayak because we were stuck in the house, and I'm like, I got to get some sort of exercise. I got to be out there. We can't go to the gym. I had a gym membership. I was actually going to the gym on a regular basis. Then COVID hit, and then I was like, I'm not going anywhere near a fucking gym because I don't want to get sick. You know what I mean? I felt like I was susceptible to the shit. And then I bought a motorcycle with the other half of it, right?
Yep.
And I rode my motorcycle, and then at the very end of it, I ended up getting COVID anyways, right? So in that whole thing, I ended up buying a box of shirts, which was funny because I went to go buy a box, and I'd hooked up the guys from Anti-Broadcasting with my full-time job. They were looking for people to do their screen printing shit, and Anti-Broadcasting just moved into a new facility, and all of their clients boned out on them because they COVID hit. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody's going to buy a bunch of T-shirts, right? So they had no outlet. They had no money coming in. So I hooked them up with my company. The day I went over there to pick my shirts up, they're like, hey, dude, I just got a $20,000 check from your job. And I'm like, what? And he goes, dude, they bought so much shit, and I just want to say thank you for fucking hooking us up. We're able to stay open. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And so we shook hands, and he handed me a box of shirts, and he's like, that's on me. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're going to give me a couple $100 worth of shirts? And he goes, that's the least I can do for you keeping my doors open here, dude. Take it.
That's awesome.
So that's how,
that's so cool.
And me selling that first box of shirts through all the people that bought all the T-shirts, I bought banners, I bought a bunch of shit, right? That I've done. Dude, my intention was this summer to sell all my fucking shit. It's sitting on a rack because I got enough money to move out of the apartment that we were in and move into a townhouse that we wanted to have a small yard for my dog. I mean, he's getting old, so he's like, 13. We wanted him to have a spot where he can wander around, till the end of his days, basically. Wanted a spot for my daughter to have, because we were in a shitty apartment building. So picking up another outlet for creativity not only turned me completely around with creativity, because I was so focused on doing tie-dye, right? And people were supporting it. I was just like, well, this is fucking fantastic. So now I was like, well, I want a podcast again. I want to do this, And then all of a sudden Jared was like, hey, come on and do a podcast with me. I do a podcast with him. I just got the bug again, And all of a sudden I started feeling this creative flow again.
Gives you that light.
Yeah. And then, Photoshop, I'm making art with Photoshop. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, all of a sudden I felt like the only thing that was missing was the music, dude. That was it. And I felt like I could do another band. And then I started like piecing people together and they're like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Let's fucking, and I had all these people ready to go. And I was just like, maybe I should just focus on me and being creative for me and not just, try. I mean, we're not playing shows. Like, well, I'm going to write an album and then wait till we open up in 2 years or whenever the fuck this thing, dies off or whatever,
Well, that's why I was kind of sort of iffy on when I've been seeing like bands, booking and doing shows. I'm just kind of like, but how is that going to pan out?
Yeah.
Because I know there's some places where, they've got it where you can't, and I don't know if it's Minnesota necessarily, but I know there's areas in like Idaho that Tyler's told me about where you want to go and do a show, you got to come to the door with a COVID card.
Yeah.
And we had gotten in the conversation where like,
it was absolutely illegal to do.
Where we were just like, dude, if you're doing that, not only is that, and that's what was one of the topics, is not only is that just completely outrageous and illegal, but if you actually got that pushed and mandated for any reason, you're not going to have anybody come to the shows to begin with.
Right.
Because let's say you've got everybody in that area, with a COVID card. No one's going to want to invite anybody to go to a show where they feel like they got to flash some kind of badge to validate that they can even be out in public and be there to begin with. Because that's
now
that's
how do
demeaning.
you feel about that? How do you feel? Now I'm not going to ask you if you have or haven't had the vaccine or anything, but how do you feel about that vaccine? How do you feel about people like getting vaccinated? How do you feel about people wanting to force you to do it? If you have or haven't, I don't know.
I haven't done it. I haven't gotten it. And my whole stipulation on that, anyways, is I don't disagree with it necessarily, but I've been home for a year and a half. I haven't gone out and I haven't been around people. I don't feel like I've had any reason where if I'm not around anybody.
Hey Jeff, you're actually. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey Hefe, you're actually wrong about that. My wife and daughter just traveled to Florida, and neither one of them had a card for approval to travel back and forth. So I don't know if it's international thing that you're talking about.
No, they don't require that. The requirement now is if you're flying, you have to have a negative test valid 3 to 4 days prior.
That's not true, because my wife and kid just went to Florida last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not true. I mean, I can see, exactly.
I think maybe it's international.
HEPA lawyers will destroy that shit all eventually, because you can't just that's private information.
It's private information.
You know what I mean? And I feel like okay, I don't disagree with it at all. I don't disagree with it. I believe that if they knew more about it, I would support it 100%. I'm like 65%. I support the fact that people want to do it and they should be able to do it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know enough about it. I don't feel like I would want to put myself. I'm already putting myself at danger. I've worked the entire time that COVID's been going. I've been dealing with people every single fucking day. Did I get COVID? Yeah, I did. Did I die from it? No. Was I sick as fuck for 16 days? Yes, I was.
Hell yeah.
But here's the thing. I just don't think they know enough about it. I just can't believe that there's so many people that want to drink the Kool-Aid just because they want to get back to normal.
Got that Jim Jones syndrome.
Well, at the same time, it's like I get it. You want things to go back to normal. I understand that. I understand that you want other people to be safe. I want other people to be safe too. But I don't know enough about it. I'm not just going to take the word of a doctor. I'm not going to do that. I just don't feel like there's enough science behind it for me to go, okay, man, stick that motherfucker in my arm and let me, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it just, why don't you just fucking tag me and bag me already?
Because I've had friends and other people tell me like, oh, so you're against vaccinations. I am absolutely not.
Right.
Because if I was an anti-vaxxer,
Right.
I don't think I would have supported my son getting every fucking vaccine we could get for him to keep him safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff kicks in for when you're around a big metropolitan area where you're around people and the potential for, bacteria and disease and stuff like that. You need those.
Yeah.
If you're living out in the middle of fucking nowhere and you're never around people, you're going to build a different immune system because you're not around people.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't around people for a year and a half, so I never left my home. I didn't see any reason to get it. And it also made me a little uncomfortable just to the fact that they managed to, you look at things like of course, if anyone's listening and feels they need to,
there will be repercussions from if people see this that want to condemn us for that, because this is the thing that we were talking about in general with playing a show, even in Minneapolis, even being publicly saying the two conversations that we just had about the police, about my daughter coming out of school for Black Lives Matter, for this shit about the vaccination. Those are two hot topics that people will fucking crucify you with.
They will fucking burn your ass about it.
And this is the thing, is they don't hear this part about it. We are not against vaccinations, nor are we against Black Lives Matter. They just hear that we're bringing it up. Exactly. And automatically they will fucking get on the defensive and they'll say that you're ignorant for not wanting to protect other people. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I want to protect me, the one who lives with me, the one who lives in my house, me, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm being selfish as fuck because I don't want to grow a third fucking shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the other thing is, it's like you've got your family to take care of. Yeah. So it's like, in the very slim chance.
But again, why wouldn't we get vaccinated to save our families, to make sure that we can still work, to still provide? That's the argument behind that.
And the one thing that made me uncomfortable is it's like, okay, so I'm here to take care of my kid.
Yeah.
And there's the vaccination. I'm all for a vaccination. Because if I'm going to be around tons of people and all this shit, and it's going to be kicking in, I want to make it through.
Yeah, be safe. Yeah.
I want to be safe. But then when they talk about, there's the very small percentage chance that things can go bad, and that's just part of the statistics.
Blood clots and fucking heart disease. And
excuse me if I'm going to be selfish as shit. I don't want to end up potentially being a fucking statistic.
Yeah, I don't want my wiener to shrivel because it's shriveled enough. I get it.
Exactly. There's nothing there. It just looks like a meat sleeve and a summer sausage cut down at the tip.
Just with a little knot on the end of it.
Yeah, it just looks like a little button hanging out the top fucking sleeve of a coat.
What's a fucking turtleneck on?
And I had this conversation with, I think, Nathaniel and a few other people too, is, I'm all for a vaccination. I am. What scares me is that when a government that potentially is where everything is, big money with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's been an ongoing thing since the beginning of fucking
time. Well, you mean like the opioid crisis? You know what I mean?
So it's
like, this is what scares me, is that legalization of marijuana. Okay, now I'm all for marijuana use if people, it helps people, it calms people, it anxiety, all of this stuff. It's cancer, all of this other shit, right? It helps people out. What I'm not okay with is that big farm. Minnesota's a huge example. They don't allow you to medical use, yes, but you can't grow it, you can't smoke it, right? You can't smoke flower, you can't grow flower, but they can farm it out to Bachman's and like a couple different places. Means that there's a monopoly there. Yeah. It means that there's kickbacks somewhere.
Because there's money to be made.
Exactly. How the fuck
But not money for you.
Yeah, money for the government.
So what scared me about that though is you're good, dude. It's you got this thing where you got this big pharmaceutical and you've got all these potential things that, when vaccinations come out, it takes time to perfect those. You have errors and you have statistics that develop over time. What scares me is that they have something that's allegedly perfected within 3 fucking months. Yeah. It takes at least a good,
few years.
Sometimes 10 to 20 years to get something perfect.
Yeah.
So when I've had people accuse me like, well, you're an anti-vaxxer. Dude, I've gotten all the vaccinations over the years that I need. Yeah. And I'm all for it. Yeah. But those are vaccinations that they've had in development. Yeah. and that have proven to work.
Smallpox.
Over a certain amount of time. Like, you can't just whip something up and say, well, here you go.
Yeah. Well, it's been proven to work this month.
It's like, yeah, but what do you grab? I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, give me the fucking Betty Crocker. Give me the fucking recipe. Let me know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure people are going to call tinfoil hat on that and be like, well, you sound crazy.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing the art and all this stuff to come off and sound crazy and piss people off. I have an opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is not to subjugate you to what you think I'm dishing out as negative. Like, you have an opinion too. And you know what? Have your opinion.
Yeah.
Because I support that you have one.
Yeah.
Because what happened, and this is what I love. Like, Nathaniel and I, we don't always agree on the same shit.
Sure.
But when we have good conversations, we always love the debate.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. I love having debate where it's two people with two different opinions, but we explain and we start to explore why we feel the way we do. And at the end of the day, you know, we actually did this about a month back. We got shit-faced as fuck, and we just sat there, blasted a bunch of metal, and we started just talking about politics and shit and our opinions on everything.
Yeah.
End of the day, we were drunk as shit. We were still fucking happy to be friends. And it was like, the fact that people have lost the ability to do that, and they're so fucking quick on the trigger.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
like you see these posts where people are like, "You support this, we can't be friends."
Dude, you want to hear
Stick
some
it in my
fucked up,
butthole and suck my shit.
You want to hear some fucked up shit? Is that I have a friend who is a vet tech, and she posted something about dog food, and that it being harmful to dogs. And I reposted it because I thought, I know a lot of people that have animals. I know a lot of people that have dogs. I know a lot of people that have cats. I know a lot of people have birds and all the snakes and all this other shit. I reposted it. I had a friend, a mutual friend, someone that's been in the scene, attack me, saying, who the fuck would be irresponsible enough to put this out when it categorizes basically taking all these dog food manufacturers and shitting on them, but pointing you in the direction of one particular maker, right? Yeah. And I said, a veterinarian, you know? And then she came back at me and said, no, she's a vet tech. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, but what are you, like a secretary or like someone who works in a warehouse? Like, well, you know what I mean? I'm thinking to myself, but then the person that actually posted it first came back and just fucking decimated her. And I was like, okay, this is going to get ugly because they just went after each other like that.
Oh,
like
God.
before, and if they were in the same room, they would be cool with each other. So I just deleted the whole post. But 2 days ago, I just saw one of the coolest things ever. A friend of mine who moved down to Texas, who's very pro-Trump, very conservative, very, very like that way.
Sure.
Another friend who is not that way, very pro Black Lives Matter, very conscious of Democrat type of liberal type of thing. And the Trump cat posted a statistic about people going around door to door, and I think it was Pennsylvania or something like that, but they're going door to door to try to get people that are on a list that haven't been vaccinated to get them to vaccinate. So they're going door to door. And the person that was the liberal person was like, I think your statistics and your source is bullshit. Right. So this person went back, took the source, posted it, and they actually came to an impasse where they were both like, well, I guess I was wrong. That actually is a better source than where I got my information from. I'm actually wrong. And I was like, holy fuck.
What the fuck?
I was like.
Fork in the road, two people,
complete
polar opposites, getting along.
Yep, getting along. Didn't get into a huge fight. They just were like, we both are men and we both respect each other's opinion. That was it. Like, I can prove, I can admit when I'm wrong. And that was like, I was going.
That's the thing.
What the fuck?
Back in the day, you could fucking hash it out with like, I don't know, you dig a hole, throw some sticks in there and punch your friend in the fucking face and call it good.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if you even so much as fart in the wrong direction, you get crucified for it. I mean, it's the same thing. Like when people started getting like allergies, people are like, "Are you sure you don't have COVID?"
Right.
Because I don't want to die because you're irresponsible.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no, I don't have COVID.
Yeah.
I had it and it sucked.
Yeah.
And if I had it again, I wouldn't be out here in public
Right.
licking doorknobs and spitting this shit
Yep.
on you.
Sorry, you fucking sneeze on people. Yeah.
Like, that's it. I don't know, man. People, I've always I dislike the idea of people. I love people. I dislike what people have proven themselves to be.
Yeah.
And this last year has really shown people's true colors.
Yeah.
And
I see it on the road every day, dude.
I still see it getting bad, though. I see promise in it, because I see that now that you see how people are.
Yeah.
You can really see how, again, how when Nathaniel and I will chat about shit, there are still people that are willing to have a good debate just for the fucking sake of it. I mean, I've met people at bars that are 21, 22 that have sat down with me and buddies just to fucking talk, and it's like, dude, you are a sign of fucking hope.
Yeah.
Because you
They're
understand
few and
that
far
it's
between. Like being able to find one is a rare
well,
find.
especially nowadays.
It's a rare find that isn't going to get butthurt with something that you say or call you a fucking boomer and walk off, or like make this, big huffity puffity type of shit and then walk away like you're a fucking idiot. You totally don't understand. You're like stuck in your own like toxic masculinity shit. Like go fucking pump some more drugs in your body, you fuck. Just like, dude, shut the fuck up before I punch you. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
one
like,
of those things where it's like people are looking for something to bitch about,
all the
because
time.
they want that clarity, and they
Yeah.
want that self-entitlement of like,
Yeah.
I'm a small voice and I got to speak very loud for the world to hear me.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for you, the world didn't give a shit. So simmer the fuck down there, bucko.
Yeah.
It's
That's pretty funny.
I don't know. It's all fucking going to hell in a handbasket, and I'm just here for the ride. I got popcorn and a Coke, and again, I'm making masks. I'm taking
Where
commissions
can people get a hold of those masks? Where can people hear your music? Where can they can get your music from? Facebook, the book of faces.
Honestly, I've got the company page on a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
You just look up my fucking name and you'll find all my shit.
Yeah.
I take commissions on anything. If you shit that I post about that you may see, like, oh, that looks cool, I'd like to order that. Yeah, hit me up. I have set.
It'll be similar.
I mean, I've got set prices for shit, but it's like, you would even ask me a while back about a wallet. Like, if there's something you want, I work with people on budgets. I don't give a shit. You could have a cool idea, like the lady who wanted a fucking ball sack for her cousin's balls.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more. If you have a weird idea and you're like, dude, I'm hitting Tracy up.
I want a nutsack fanny pack.
I want a fanny pack that looks like a big scrotum, and when it opens up, I want it to be a mouth with some teeth. Like, dude,
that would be pretty cool.
I will fucking make that, and I'll even make the zipper a fucking little tiny dick. Like, I will gladly make it, and you'll
Muscle
get a discount
pussy.
because it'll be the coolest idea. Exactly. You want a sideways fanny pack? We'll just call it a actually, that would be a fanny pack. Be a front fanny pack. And I'll do it.
The Manny pack.
We'll go with that. The Manny pack. Just it'll be the fucking the a pair of butt cheeks. And just spread the ass open. And
so where can people get your music? Facebook again?
Yeah, my Facebook.
iTunes, Spotify.
Promidal's on. I think Promidal's pretty much on everything right now. We haven't really updated much lately.
Yeah. How about the newer stuff?
Forge Master, we've got a couple demos of stuff that's in the works that are on the Forge Master page. So if you look for Forge Master Official on Facebook, we are there. We're working on a few other little avenues of social media to get out there. But we will hopefully be having something here soon, because I would definitely like to bring that project to the stage.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, what you showed me was pretty fucking cool.
It's who knows? Maybe I'll play a guitar or an accordion. Or
Ooh, there you go. Squeeze box.
Fucking cowbell.
There you go.
I'll do that. I'll just fucking headbang and just go to fucking town.
Rolling that shit, man.
Yep.
Fucking. Well, dude, thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, hell yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it, dude. It's always fun to talk to you. It's always fun to fucking let her rip, man. And we always get on these tangents and just
dude,
go.
we fucking vibe like crazy, and we go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And it always brings me back to fucking cinnamon butt and unicorn dick.
Unicorn dicks.
Unicorn dicks.
Thank you guys for joining us, everybody from in-state and out-of-state. We really appreciate you joining us. Anybody watching this podcast at a later date, thank you very much for taking your time and doing the podcast and checking it out. Dude, I appreciate it. You want to say any goodbyes or any things, check out any things or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as the shop goes, got a lot of new stuff coming in. We got new wallets, new aprons. We're starting to do costumes, and I'm taking orders now for Halloween stuff. So if anyone's looking for Halloween shit,
get on it.
Now would be the time to get it at a discount. Otherwise, when Halloween months come in, when I start in September.
Now, are you doing the hayride thing again? Or are you doing the...
I might be. I might be vending again. Okay. But when I vend if I vend again, my prices will be cheaper. But those are usually one and done. So if you don't make the day that I do it, you're not going to get shit.
Right.
So it's usually good to order in advance.
Right.
Because once it hits the actual Halloween months,
Terra Class Aesthetics.
My prices go up an extra chunk of money.
TERRA Class Aesthetics. I don't know how to spell that. So,
because if you order, you too can be acquired with balls of steel.
Yes. Thank you guys for checking it out. Do me a favor, check out Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated Custom Screen Printing, antibroadcasting@gmail.com, 612-836-9488. Give them a call if you're looking to get some shirts done. I know they do a bunch of different stuff other than shirts, fucking zip-up hoodies, sweatpants, shorts, all of that fancy merchandise. Also, if you're looking to get some tattoo work, Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, 612-353-4755. lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Hit those guys up. Thank you again for listening to the podcast. I appreciate you all very much. I hope you guys have a fucking great evening. Enjoy your evening. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you next week. Peace out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness